President of Marketing, Lisa Nilchian, says he might be the team's good luck charm.
Tuskie's 1-0, so I think we've got a big season ahead of us, absolutely.
And he's got a few tricks up his sleeve.
Tuskie can skate. Yeah, you can't join the NHL if you don't skate. Plus, he was frozen in ice for years, so he's used to this terrain.
You can see him tomorrow on the ice when the Mammoth play the San Jose Sharks. The puck drops at 7. KSL's top national stories. The Senate has voted and failed to pass the same two bills that would have funded the government again. This is the 10th time. Democrats are still urging a conversation on extending Affordable Care Act tax credits. Republicans say they won't have a conversation until the government is reopened. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says Republicans are trying to jam through a military funding bill without getting the required 60 votes it needs to pass.
Right now, the only thing that is on the floor is just the defense bill. Thune needs unanimous consent to add anything else to it. We don't even know if he'll get that. It's always been unacceptable to Democrats to do the defense bill without other bills that have so many things that are important to the American people in terms of health care, in terms of housing, in terms of safety.
The Senate Majority Leader says they offered Democrats a vote on extending the Obamacare tax credits, and Schumer says that didn't happen. House Speaker Mike Johnson is voicing frustration with Democrats.
The Obamacare subsidy issue is not the issue of today. It is a subsidy that expires December 31. We were always planning to continue the debate and discussion about that issue in October and November. Ironically, Democrats are taking the time off the clock for us to do that.
Senator John Curtis says there is no end in sight to the government shutdown.
Buckle up. This is going to go on for a little bit longer.
Curtis posted a video on X saying the shutdown was predetermined back in March, and the reason the Democrats are fighting the draft of the bill was also predetermined in 2022 when expiration dates were put into Biden-era subsidies for insurance, knowing that they were set to expire in 2025.
Democrats have gone into this not knowing a way out. Right now, the only way out is telling Republicans, demanding Republicans spend another $1 trillion on their predetermined crisis, and you can see why that's not going to happen.
He says enough is enough, and it's time to stop holding the government hostage. Other national stories KSL is following. California's governor says President Trump was planning to shoot missiles over a busy freeway between L.A. and San Diego this weekend. The military says that is not the plan. ABC's Alex Stone reports from Los Angeles.
As it was presented by Governor Gavin Newsom's office, at least on social media on Wednesday, President Trump was planning to shoot live missiles into Camp Pendleton over the busy 5 freeway or close to it, causing it to be shut down this weekend. But the military said no, the freeway won't be shut down. It is doing a demonstration for Vice President J.D. Vance to celebrate the Marine Corps' 250th anniversary, but it will be on approved training grounds at Camp Pendleton. Newsom's office says it is relieved the White House has backed off plans to shut down the interstate, although it's unclear if that was ever actually the plan. Alex Stone, ABC News.
First look traffic. Good afternoon, Ricky.
Good afternoon, Maria. Nice and quiet on your Salt Lake County freeways, but not in Utah County, where we have slowdowns southbound I-15 going from Payson to Santaquin. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time, 12:05.
Okay, all signed up. Easy. Now let's run payroll. What the? Hey, girl. I'm you with more gusto. Nice. Who's that? New social media manager. Hired and onboarded with gusto. And spoiler, we're kind of famous now. Wait, we're famous? Oh, well, I'm famous. Payroll, benefits, and HR. Designed and built for small businesses. Choose a future with gusto.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Everybody knows that exterior remodeling salespeople are all about the high-pressure sell. Am I right? Windows, siding, gutters, those suckers are going to twist your arm and get you to buy, or they won't leave your house at night. Tim Jr. here from RGS Exteriors, and I want you to know we don't have high-pressure sells. In fact, we don't even have salespeople. Nope, we have estimators. That's a huge difference. Estimators are trained to look at the entire scope of the project, to see and know if there are any problems, like rotten wood, wood-borne insects, or construction issues specific to your house or your neighbors. Salespeople are more concerned about playing those silly price games. Buy one, get one free, sign today and get 40% off, as if they didn't just jack the price up to give you a fake discount. RGS Exteriors estimators are going to give you a great quote. No games, no tricks, no nonsense. Call RGS Exteriors to quote your exterior project. Our number is 801-280-3110 or visit us at rgsutah.com. That's rgsutah.com.
Thank you for joining us for Midday. Recapping our top story, BYU's president says security will be amped up at this week's rivalry game against Utah. KSL News Time 12:07. Utah senators plan to introduce a bill allowing off-road vehicles to enter Capitol Reef National Park. KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla has more.
The Senate Committee on Energy and Natural Resources says it's an accessibility issue, and not everyone can enjoy the federally managed land. The bill was drafted to, quote, ensure that Americans with disabilities can access and enjoy the nation's public lands. It would apply state motor vehicle laws to any vehicles traveling along the roads, like dirt bikes, ATVs, and side-by-sides. The bill isn't creating new roads, but says they can do so if needed. The Southern Utah Wilderness Alliance released a press release condemning the bill, saying off-road vehicles have damaging impacts on the landscape and the experience of people around them. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
Part of I-215 will close for 10 nights straight starting tonight. KSL News Radio's Isabella Sosa has more.
The issue is the I-80 bridge near the mouth of Parley's Canyon after an oversized truck damaged the bottom of the bridge. I-215 closures will start as early as 9 p.m. The road will reopen at about 6 a.m. each day for the morning commute. A top priority for UDOT Public Relations Director John Gleason is to keep the public in the loop.
We just want to let people know about these things so that they're not surprised. It's when it surprises people, that's when they have a problem with it, because they want to be able to make plans around being stuck in traffic.
Gleason recommends drivers on Foothill Drive avoid the Reno-Cheyenne exit leading to I-80 because the ramp merges with I-215 and would lead you straight to the closure. Isabella Sosa, KSL News Radio.
Both the North Temple and the Green Line track stations between Redwood Road and 2400 West will be closed this weekend. KSL News Radio's Heather Kelly has more.
UDOT says the closure is to build a temporary bridge deck to assist during the demolition of a portion of I-215's West Belt. In their Facebook post, they state the closure is from Friday night through Sunday, and the Green Line stations between North Temple Bridge and Guadalupe will also be closed, so a bus bridge will be in place.
UTA says Trax riders should expect up to 45-minute delays. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
If you're headed on any of the Salt Lake County freeways, you're good to go. Nice and quiet, no accidents, no delays. Our main secondaries are seeing a good drive. Where we do have slowdowns is southbound I-15 in Utah County as you're going from the very top of Salem and Payson right on into Santaquin on southbound I-15. Common Spirit hospitals, clinics, and caregivers, all connected to advanced health care in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Healthcare with human kindness is here. Hello, human kindness. Ricky Neeson, the KSL Traffic Center.
Morning showers should break up. I've got a high of 53, mostly cloudy to partly cloudy this afternoon, and potentially a lingering shower. 42 overnight, mostly clear. 60 tomorrow, mostly sunny. We're up to 63 on Saturday, sunshine, and 71 breezy by Sunday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And right now in downtown Salt Lake City, mostly cloudy skies and 48 degrees. And coming up on Midday with Maria Shilaos, we'll hear what House Speaker Mike Schultz is focusing on after hearing from lawmakers this interim session. That's next, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio, sponsored by At Your Service Pros. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
How do they get so excited about 50 yards? Think of what you could sew with that. But you need a really great sewing machine, a Bernina.
Get Bernina sewing, serging, and embroidery machines and accessories at fantastic prices. The Bernina Super Weekend Sale.
Don't miss this Dave's Bernina Super Saturday one-day event, October 18th at our Provo and St. George stores. Featuring 0% financing for 48 or 72 months on qualifying purchases made October 18th.
Save hundreds to thousands of dollars on all new Bernina machines machines. Even the most advanced sewing machine in the world, the Bernina 990, is on sale.
And receive a free $5,200 gift bundle.
Hurry in for amazing bargains on trade-ins and just out-of-the-box special event demo machines that come with warranties.
Unbeatable one-day Super Saturday, October 18th discounts and clearance items throughout the store.
Dave's Bernina, 691 East St. George Boulevard and 2017 North 550 West in Provo.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Do you have chirping smoke detectors? What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and if you've ever experienced chirping smoke detectors, you already know how annoying it can be. A great first step to try and stop the chirping is to change the batteries. If the chirping continues, it's possible that your smoke detector has gone bad. As a matter of fact, a lot of people don't even realize that manufacturers recommend replacing the smoke detector altogether after 10 years. If you remove the smoke detector from the wall, on the back you should find a date of when it was made. Do a little math and you'll know how old it is. Now, Any Hour Services knows being a homeowner means you've got a list a mile long of things to do around the house, and check my electrical system probably isn't one of them. That's why we've put together this radio special for any homeowners listening. One of our licensed electricians will perform a comprehensive inspection of your electrical system that includes testing those smoke detectors and give you a full written report for only $29. But you have to mention this ad when you call. Call Any Hour Services to schedule it. 801-443-7300. 801-443-7300. Any Hour Services.
KSL News Time, 12:15. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
the president of BYU says they will have a heavy security presence at this week's rivalry game against Utah. His comments coming after someone threatened to shoot Utes fans at the game. I'm KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
Second, both the North Temple and the track stations between Redwood Road and 2400 West will be closed this weekend. Expect delays and detours. Third, traffic and weather together, Ricky.
Slow down southbound I-15 at the bottom portion of Utah County as you go from Salem into Santaquin. But if you're a little bit more local, all of your Salt Lake County freeways look good. And I-15 both directions, smooth sailing between Ogden and Provo. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Morning rain showers should break up by afternoon. Look for a cold high of 53 and then drier for the weekend. I'm Matt Johnson.
Mostly cloudy, 48 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Time now for KSL's top national stories from ABC News.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. A day before President Trump meets with Ukraine's President Zelensky at the White House on securing more defense weapons and possible long-range missiles, he held a call with Russia's leader.
President Trump's phone call with Russian President Vladimir Putin lasted more than 2 hours, and he says he believes, quote, great progress was made. They agreed there would be high-level U.S.-Russia meetings next week. Secretary of State Marco Rubio will lead the U.S. delegation. The president also said he and Putin will then meet in Hungary to see if they can bring the war to an end, but he doesn't say when that meeting would take place. Asked if the president believes conditions have changed to make a second meeting with Putin more successful than their Alaska summit in August, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said the president is, quote, always willing to take a chance at diplomacy. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
Military training exercises taking place off the coast of Venezuela, according to a U.S. official. That includes U.S. helicopters flown by Special Operations Unit in the Caribbean. Yesterday, President Trump telling reporters that he's authorized the CIA to engage in an operation against Venezuela and threatened to strike land targets after designating drug cartels enemy combatants. The U.S. carrying out strikes on boats allegedly transporting drugs in recent weeks. A fragile ceasefire deal in Gaza with Israel accusing Hamas of violating the deal after not returning all deceased hostages. Israel now closing one border. More from ABC's Patrick Reevell.
Israel did cut
humanitarian aid by half going into Gaza on Tuesday as a sign of a protest against Hamas being, it said, too slow to return the bodies of these deceased hostages. In general, some aid is going into Gaza, but we heard from the chief of the UN humanitarian agency last night calling for Israel to speed it up.
The Senate failing to pass a bill to end the government shutdown now in week 3. You're listening to ABC News.
Time now for the KSL In-Depth. The Utah legislature held multiple interim meetings this week. House Speaker Mike Schultz joined Inside Sources to talk about issues that stood out to him, including high gas prices.
When you look at some of the surrounding states, Colorado, Wyoming, Arizona, in some cases, Utah is paying up to 50 cents more per gallon and than what those states are paying. And when you look at how Utah compares nationally over the last couple months since I've really been looking at it, Utah is paying about 30 cents more per gallon than what the average is nationally. And so Representative Cal Roberts and I have been looking into this as to, okay, why? What are the reasons? What can be done? And so that's a big issue that came up. It's an issue that I think the citizens of the state are really focused on, mainly because the cost of living, not just here in Utah, but all across the country, cost of living has become a big issue with inflation and everything else. And when you see gas prices falling significantly across the nation, and it's not falling here in the state of Utah, people start to ask why.
And that is House Speaker Mike Schultz. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
Right now, Salt Lake County freeways look good. No accidents, no delays. We do have slowdowns southbound I-15 in Utah County going from Salem towards Santaquin. And sometimes you're at a complete stop, but use patience. Once you're into Santaquin, speeds pick right back up. Also hearing from a listener that construction is going to affect travel on the overpass at University Avenue in Provo. That construction is going to last a long time. It might be a spot you want to plan ahead for and avoid. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast. Got a high of 53 today with drier conditions. Partly cloudy to mostly cloudy and potentially a stray shower hanging on. 64 tomorrow, mostly sunny skies. 63 on Saturday. We'll go to 71, mostly sunny skies, but breezy on Sunday. Those winds could usher in another cold front. Looks like mostly cloudy on your Monday. 54 the high, 30% chance for showers, and definitely breezy out of the northwest. 58 mostly sunny on Tuesday, and Wednesday, 61 with sunshine. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And it's pretty cool in downtown Salt Lake City. Mostly cloudy skies, 48 degrees. The 7-day forecast is brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. All right, it's time to give out another Cougar keyword, and it's your chance to win a pair of tickets to this Saturday's rivalry game, which you can listen to right here on the legacy home of the BYU Cougars, KSL News Radio. So the keyword of this hour is champs, CHAMPS, champs. Just text the word champs right now to 57500 for your chance to win. Again, that's the word champs to 57500.
You do countless things without a second thought to protect your family and home. Every time you're in the car, you buckle your seatbelt. Before the next load of laundry, you remove the dryer lint. When you head out, you always lock your doors. And one simple task, done far less often, can protect your family and home this winter. Schedule a furnace inspection by a certified heating contractor to check for safety and efficiency. A friendly reminder from Enbridge Gas.
The power of we believes in you. It advocates for you. It completes your circle. It makes sure you have the strongest circle possible. And with Intermountain Health in yours, you'll always have the care you need to live the healthiest life possible. That's the power of we. Intermountain Health.
Hi, this is Derek Overstreet, president of the New Millennium Group and co-host of Stop Working, Start Living with KSL News Radio. Can you imagine what your life would be like if you could retire 3 to 5 years earlier than you thought possible? The things you could do, the loved ones you could spend time with, the memories that you could create. That's what our team at the New Millennium Group does. We'll walk you through the entire process every step of the way. If you'd like to get a copy of the 5-step proprietary plan that will help you retire 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible, give us a shout right now. 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com. Listen, most of our listeners right now have a tax problem, not a money problem. There's not enough money in Social Security Medicare as it is. Let us show you how you can significantly reduce your taxes. That's 888-999-6370, 888-999-6370, or utahsfinancialplanner.com.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Do you spend half your day walking or standing while working? If you have foot, knee, or low back pain, the Good Feet store wants to help you like we helped Tony.
Pain that I experience the most is foot pain from being on my feet all day. You're having to kind of talk to yourself through the whole shift, like, I got this, I can do this. Before, I felt defeated, and now it's like, all right, let's go. I'm ready. A whole new life, like sunshine coming out.
And here's Dennis.
Working at an amusement park, it's always on your feet. I just couldn't take it, but I didn't have a choice. I just couldn't believe that putting these arch supports in made that much of a difference that quickly. Good Feet just took that pain away, and I could do my job, and I could take care of my family. I know what my tomorrow is going to be. It's going to be positive, and it's going to be pain-free.
You deserve a better life, too. Stop in the Good Feet store today. Walk-ins are always welcome. Or find the location nearest you and schedule an appointment at goodfeet.com.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Okay, we're getting a lot of texts, but I'm going to say it's probably my fault. My elocution or whatever. The keyword, the cougar keyword, listen closely. It's not chance. It is champs. CHAMPS. The word is champs for your chance to win. Again, the word CHAMPS to 57500. A new report says people should walk backwards as part of their exercise routine. ABC News spoke to an orthopedic surgeon from Johns Hopkins who says he agrees.
I would definitely say it's good for muscle groups and activating new muscle groups that you might not be activating at a microscopic level. It probably has less of a cardiovascular benefit because just in terms of your balance, you can walk forward faster and for longer.
He says walking backwards or retro walking challenges the mind and body. Watching Utah's money, more Spanish-speaking individuals are watching TV. CNBC reports the audience is growing and advertisers are taking note. Hispanic consumers make up about 56% of streaming consumption. Burger King is tapping into the McDonald's market and launching a Halloween bucket. They will be available to purchase while supplies last. The fast food chain originally launched them back in 2023. Ben's Original is recalling multiple batches after reports of small stones in the ready rice. Multiple flavors are affected. They were sold at Target, Amazon, and other retailers. And taking a look at your money at this moment, the stock market down today. The Dow down by 377 points, sitting at 45,876. S&P down by about 61, and the NASDAQ down nearly 200 points. Massive job cuts are taking place at the world's biggest food company.
Nestle is letting go of 16,000 people globally. The maker of Kit Kat, Häagen-Dazs, Lean Cuisine, Stouffer's, Hot Pockets, Nespresso, Coffee Mate, Fancy Feast, and Friskies says the world is changing and it needs to change faster. Like other food makers, it's dealing with rising commodity costs and the negative impact of tariffs. Shares of Nestle rose on the news. Wayne Cabot, ABC News.
Rivalry Week is here.
The 5, the 4, dive, touchdown, touchdown, touchdown!
BYU, Utah.
Bear Bachmeyer gets in for 6 in double overtime.
Listen for Cougar Tracks all week long. 30 minutes of coverage of BYU, Utah. All this week at 6:30 on Utah's legacy home of the Cougars and Rivalry Week. KSL News Radio.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
Hi, I'm Jay Broadbent from Alpine Home Medical.
and I'm humbled to win Utah's Best of State for 2025 for the 15th year in a row. After 28 years, we're all about you. Over 1,700 5-star Google reviews and a 4.8 customer satisfaction score to prove it. We'll keep working hard for you. I've spent this year advocating with lawmakers for better Medicare reimbursement, ensuring you always have the best access to medical supplies you need. From Idaho Falls to St. George, our 11 stores are your home for comfort. When you hear Alpine Home Medical, think of that best of state experience every single time. Visit us online at alpinehomemedical.com. That's alpinehomemedical.com.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
I'm Dave Cawley, investigative journalist and host of the podcast Cold. In October of 1985, a woman named Cherie Warren left work at a busy Salt Lake City office
to meet her estranged husband at a downtown auto dealership.
She never made it home. Cherie's car surfaced weeks later in Las Vegas.
In the parking lot of a hotel casino.
No one knows how it got there.
Strange. It was strange.
Both Cherie's estranged husband and her boyfriend raised suspicion for investigators.
I kind of thought that he might have done something.
But no arrests were ever made. In Cold Season 3, we dig into double lives, make new connections in the case, and examine the difficulty raised by reasonable doubt.
We want answers just as much as anyone else.
They have creeps like that now too, so nothing's changed.
That's the new Cold Season 3, The Search for Cherie, now available anywhere you get your podcasts.
On the surface, it seemed like just another Cinderella story.
A team that was predicted to finish dead last is now waiting to play the first round of the playoffs.
But Real Salt Lake's 2021 playoff run was so much more than what happened on the pitch.
Our club is burning to the ground.
This is the tip of the iceberg. Making of a Moment, the RSL story, is available now.
I just kind of got chills right now thinking about it.
Follow us at makingamomentpod.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. And here's Ricky Meese.
Slow down southbound I-15 going from Salem towards Santaquin, so pace and really crowded and slow. If you're on the Salt Lake County freeways, we've started to see a little bit of busy traffic appear northbound I-15 approaching the I-80 junction, so near 2100 South. But no other problems reported on our freeways or main secondaries. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
After some morning rain showers, things should dry out. Look for a cold high of 53, mostly cloudy skies, peaks of sunshine, and maybe some stray showers. 42 overnight, cold and clear. 60 for your Friday, 63 in sunshine into Saturday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Mostly cloudy skies in downtown Salt Lake City and 50 degrees.
You're listening to Midday with Maria Shilaos
on KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good afternoon. KSL News Time, 1230. KSL's top story this half hour. Salt Lake County District Attorney is working with local law enforcement agencies to make stronger cases against domestic violence perpetrators. KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson joins me with more to explain.
Maria, Salt Lake County DA Sim Gill says they've been working on training local officers so they know what evidence is needed for a conviction.
Sometimes survivors of domestic violence will stop cooperating with prosecutors for one reason or another. We believe that strengthening the cases at the initial crime scene response could enhance our chances, even if a survivor chooses not to cooperate further with that prosecution.
He says part of the key to that is trauma-informed care of the victims and connecting survivors with support services, because keeping them engaged in the case and safe could mean all the difference. Gill says in the last 5 years, they've been presented with 24,000 potential domestic violence cases, but they've only filed charges in about 15,000. But he said last year they started closing the gap between cases submitted to them and cases with enough evidence to support filing charges. Reporting live in Salt Lake City, Heather Peterson, KSL News Radio.
Community programs are helping Utah children succeed. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis has more.
In a new report from the Kim C. Gardner Policy Institute, they found local initiatives like the Promise South Salt Lake and Roy Cohn Project have led to higher graduation rates, better grades in school, and fewer juvenile arrests. Lead author of the study, Andrea Thomas Brandley, says these initiatives can be so effective partly because they're better at coordinating and identifying local needs.
So rather than trying to solve all of the problems all at once, they can take it down to a smaller level and see what are the main needs that are happening here, what resources do we have.
She says policymakers can evaluate if these programs or similar ones would be effective in other areas of the state and discuss how to extend them to other communities. Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
A United Airlines flight from Denver to L.A. made an unexpected stop in Salt Lake City this morning after pilots reported a cracked windshield in the cockpit. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera joins us live to explain why the pilots made that call to divert. Eric?
Maria, fire crews were standing by as Flight 1093, a Boeing 737 MAX 8, landed safely after diverting to SLC Airport earlier today. A commercial airline pilot who asked not to be named out of worry for losing his job explains why cracks like this require a diversion.
You're not really sure the integrity of that windshield. So big worry is if it were to fail, you're going to have all this windshield debris coming into the pilots' faces. So they got to get the aircraft down quick.
He also said windshield cracks actually happen more often than most people realize, and that modern jets have plenty of safety measures and backup systems in place to keep flights safe. The FAA has been notified, and the aircraft will remain on the ground for inspection before returning to service. Live, Eric Cabrera, KSL News Radio.
In breaking news, the Sandy Police Department says they have made 3 arrests in the shooting that occurred Monday at Main Street Park. It resulted in the death of a Sandy resident, Josh Pechtold. All 3 suspects are juveniles and are currently booked into the detention center. They will not be releasing the identities of the suspects. Police say there are no other outstanding suspects. KSL's top national stories. President Trump spoke to Russian President Vladimir Putin today. It comes before the president's scheduled meeting with Ukraine's President Zelensky tomorrow. He said the call was very productive.
President Trump's phone call with Russian President Vladimir Putin lasted more than 2 hours, and he says he believes, quote, great progress was made. They agreed there would be high-level U.S.-Russia meetings next week. Secretary of State Marco Rubio will lead the U.S. delegation. The president also said he and Putin will then meet in Hungary to see if they can bring the war to an end. But he doesn't say when that meeting would take place. Asked if the president believes conditions have changed to make a second meeting with Putin more successful than their Alaska summit in August, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said the president is, quote, always willing to take a chance at diplomacy. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
Other national stories KSL is following. The ceasefire in Gaza is holding for now, but cracks are forming. Israel is accusing Hamas of not holding up its end of the ceasefire deal by keeping some remains of the hostages who died. Hamas says it's located all of the remains it could, and outside groups have offered to help. As a result, Israel is cutting off aid into Gaza. More from ABC's Patrick Reevell.
Israel did cut humanitarian aid by half going into Gaza on Tuesday as a sign of a protest against Hamas being, it said, too slow to return the bodies of these deceased hostages. In general, some aid is going into Gaza, but we heard from the chief of the UN humanitarian agency last night calling for Israel to speed it up.
That is not the only issue in Gaza. ABC's Ian Pannell has more.
There are a number of issues that have emerged. One is disarming Hamas. The militants have been reasserting their control in the parts of Gaza that the IDF has withdrawn from against other armed groups, some of them organised based around clans, family clans, others criminal elements. But their methods have sometimes been violent. Horrific images emerging in a video verified by ABC News appearing to show Hamas-linked gunmen carrying out a public execution.
We will continue to monitor the peace deal out of the Middle East and provide updates as we get them. First look traffic. What's going on, Ricky?
Salt Lake City PD wrapping up a crash downtown at 5th South and 3rd West. And we also have a KSL traffic trooper reporting an accident in Saratoga Springs, westbound Pioneer Crossing at 2200 West. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time, 12:35.
1847. Our home Utah takes shape. A century later, Utah's home champion is born. Since 1947, Whipple Service Champions has earned the trust of over 250,000 Utah homeowners with techs who rise above to deliver award-winning heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical. Championing the spirit of 47, Whipple is offering $47 off any home repair or service, including drain clearings. Act now and call Whipple Service Champions at 801-896-1947 for the win today.
He's Donald Trump's #1 enemy in Congress, Chicago politician Dick Durbin. Now, Durbin has a new scheme. He's doing the dirty work to benefit corporate megastores. Durbin's bill could cut corners on your credit card security, putting your personal data at risk. Big chain retailers and warehouse stores want to inflate their profits, and liberal Dick Durbin would help them do it. Tell senators, say no to the megastores and Dick Durbin. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done. This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Thank you for joining us for Midday, recapping our top story. Salt Lake County District Attorney is working with local law enforcement agencies to make stronger cases against domestic violence perpetrators. KSL News Time, 1237. The rain this morning now has October listed among the top 5 wettest months ever in Salt Lake City after it smashed the October rain record a few days ago. KSL News Radio's Randall Jepson has more.
KSL meteorologist Matt Johnson says it's tough to say if a rainy October means a big snow year later on, but things are looking pretty good.
That will set the stage that even if we have a normal winter, right, we're going to see way more runoff than if we had a normal winter with a terrible soil moisture going into that winter.
But what about Halloween, just over 2 weeks out? He says there are 2 storm systems out in the Pacific, and they look promising. Johnson tells Inside Sources the temperatures could be cold enough that trick-or-treaters might not see rain. They might see snow.
I'd hate to sign the dotted line on, but as it looks right now, yeah.
Randall Jepson, KSL News Radio.
Okay, we've seen snow before. We actually sang Christmas carols one Halloween. A legislative committee has started the process to undo a controversial law dealing with wildlife management in trails. During the last legislative session, lawmakers passed a bill requiring people to buy hunting or fishing licenses to use trails in wildlife management areas, or WMAs.
Some of these groups, like the bikers, they want to help in this area, but some of them aren't hunters. They're not fishermen, but they want to be recognized. They want to be able to contribute to these WMAs. Same thing with the hikers.
State Representative David Schallenberger would replace the licenses with signs giving information about the WMA. He hopes educating people about the WMA will inspire people and organizations to make donations when they are recreating in the area. There's a public health advisory for southern Utah because of a major increase in an invasive species of mosquito. Sean Ammett with Southwest Mosquito Abatement and Control District says people might have a bigger reaction to these mosquitoes because they aren't native to the area and people haven't built up a tolerance to them.
And one mosquito will bite up to 12 different times for one blood meal. So you think you might have, a whole swarm of mosquitoes. It's just one mosquito and they'll bite you a whole bunch.
They also bite thinner areas of skin near the wrists and ankles. Ammett says this is a tropical breed of mosquito that could have been brought by bringing in planting soil from another area. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. I don't know about you, Ricky, but I'm tired of being a meal for those mosquitoes.
Exactly.
Oh, you were done with that.
I know, and they seem to just be everywhere this year, at least at my house. Well, for those who are traveling any of the Salt Lake County freeways, you're good to go. In fact, I-15 and our main secondaries are really in good shape in Weber, Davis, and Salt Lake counties. It's Utah County where we've had these unusual slowdowns, but only on the southbound side of I-15 from about Benjamin down to through Payson and almost to Santaquin. So a patch of slowing there, but by the time you do reach Santaquin, you are right back to the posted limit. We also had an accident called out in Utah County. This is westbound on Pioneer Crossing at 2200 West in Saratoga Springs. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Hey, after a wet start to your Thursday, we'll dry things out. 53 for a high today. And we are talking about maybe a stray shower, but all in all, drier for the afternoon. 42 overnight. We'll go to 60 on your Friday, mostly sunny. Saturday, 63, blue skies. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And it's mostly cloudy, 50 degrees in downtown Salt Lake City. Coming up on Midday, we'll talk to the American Red Cross about flood monitoring with all the rain that we have been receiving. That's next, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
I'm Jenny Oaks Baker, and I invite you to Joy to the World.
It was sacred, exquisitely beautiful, and Jenny's talent on the violin is unmatched.
Featuring choirs, dancers, and my children musical group, Family 4. Plus world-renowned mezzo-soprano Angela Brower and celebrated baritone and narrator Preston Yates.
It was just like emotionally stirring. The dancers, the singers, Jenny and her family, just bringing to life the beautiful music.
Experience a Christ-centered Christmas as we proudly support Light the World.
It's so beautiful to see how they use all of their talents to just testify of the Savior.
Get your tickets for Joy to the World, a sacred celebration at jennyoaksbaker.com.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
You've got your whole life ahead of you. So choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Utah can count on.
This fall, wrap yourself and everyone on your gift list in the original luxury, a blanket from Minky Couture. Perfect for relaxing, watching the game, or making someone's day. Stock up now for the holidays and give the best gift ever. Use code KSL50 for 50% off your entire order. Minky Couture, the original luxury Minky blanket and home of the best gift ever. Minky Couture and minkycouture.com.
KSL News Time 1245. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
Salt Lake County's district attorney is educating local law enforcement on how to best support domestic violence victims and collect the evidence they need to better prosecute domestic violence cases. I'm KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson.
Second, the Sandy Police Department says they've made 3 arrests in the shooting that occurred Monday at Main Street Park and killed 1 person. All 3 people are juveniles. Third, traffic and weather together, Ricky.
No problems on your Salt Lake County freeways. Delays linger southbound I-15 in Utah County going from Benjamin through Payson, but you'll see better speeds by the time you're reaching Santaquin. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
After a wet start to our Thursday, looks like the weekend's drying out. I'm Matt Johnson.
Mostly cloudy, 50 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Time now for KSL's top national stories.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. President Trump threatening to, quote, go in and kill Hamas members, he says, if Hamas continues to kill people in Gaza. That after recent video surfaced showing Hamas-linked gunmen appearing to carry out public executions. ABC's Ian Pannell has more.
There are a number of issues that have emerged. One is disarming Hamas. The militants have been reasserting their control in the parts of Gaza that the IDF has withdrawn from against other armed groups, some of them organized based around clans, family clans, others criminal elements, but their methods have sometimes been violent.
Israel's also accusing Hamas of failing to return all deceased hostages. President Trump held a phone call today with Russia's Vladimir Putin about ending the war in Ukraine, saying the two will meet in Hungary without giving a date. Tomorrow, the president meets with Ukraine's leader at the White House. Senate lawmakers could take up a procedural vote on a measure to fund military pay for a year. It comes after a 10th vote to end the government shutdown failed. This is ABC News.
Time now for the KSL In-Depth. The American Red Cross is monitoring flood risks across the state as we receive record rainfall this month. Executive Director of the American Red Cross, Benjamin Donner, joins me now live. And Benjamin, thanks for being with me. We certainly have had a lot of water. So tell us, any particular areas that you guys are keeping an eye on?
You know, at the moment with rain hitting, it's almost funny that you say that. Rain has hit everywhere, right? It's one of those where it isn't one specific area across the state. We are really trying to communicate to all Utah residents here to make sure they're prepared, because you never know if a storm's going to break out, if that flooding or water issue is going to hit your neighborhood, your home. You want to be prepared. And so, no, there isn't one specific area, multiple across the state that we're watching at the moment.
So what should people be aware of to make sure that they are prepared?
Well, most importantly, every household should have an emergency plan. And this is not just for rain and flooding. This is home fires, wildfires, et cetera. It holds true, but identify evacuation routes out of your home. Practice with the household. If flood waters are rising, you want to have already thought that through. Have an emergency kit. So every household should have water, non-perishable food, flashlight, batteries, most important, medications. Medications and water don't typically mix very well in that. And so we have a whole list of items, but the one thing I could really say that would affect everyone is take a moment, look at your own household and what your specific needs are, and just make sure in the event that you needed to evacuate or hold tight for a time without utilities or something, make sure that you have those necessary supplies.
So what types of things are you doing at the Red Cross so that you're prepared to help anyone in need?
Oh, thank you for that question. So our volunteers and staff train for this. So we have volunteers that 24/7 stand ready to open up evacuation centers, shelters, or even help an individual household that experiences their own disaster. And that starts long before the rain starts falling. And so right now, as we are looking at these, we stay in contact and communication with our fire departments, our emergency managers, all of whom are just incredible here in the state of Utah. And we stay in that communication. And the moment that we see an emergency, they communicate to us and say, hey, it's time to do it. And Red Cross stands ready. We have cleanup kits helping that recovery process for homes. I know in Rose Park, out in Tooele, some other areas that experienced significant flooding, we were able to be there with our partners and help with those items as well.
We often don't think of the Red Cross as reaching out to individuals. So when does somebody know when they should reach out? When would they be eligible for your help?
Oh my goodness. I venture to say disasters, someone once told me that the Red Cross shows up and our clients, as it were, these wonderful individuals that experience disasters, it's the worst day of their life. It could be. So if you're ever displaced from your home for a flood, fire, even if you're unsure, call 1-800-RED Cross. We have individuals standing by 24/7 that even if you're unsure, don't often think about having the Red Cross, like you said, Maria, come to an individual's rescue. but that's the most common disaster we respond to across the country. And we have over 60,000 home fires, floods, et cetera, all across the country where that may affect just one household. And I would say, when in doubt, call the Red Cross, talk to us. Worst case scenario, we give advice, tips, et cetera, and help those individuals recover.
You mentioned emergency checklist. Where do folks get that?
Yes. So redcross.org is probably the best across the board for all of our information, but redcross.org/prepare will go directly to those checklists, et cetera. You'll also see the ability, or it'll talk about a free app that we give that's the Red Cross Emergency app. And I highly recommend have that on your phone in the event that there's any emergency, night, day, et cetera. That app will notify you that there's something to be aware of. And if evacuation's needed, et cetera, that is also free to our incredible community here.
All right, Benjamin, thanks for being with me.
Thank you so much, Maria.
Live on the KSL Newsline, that is the Executive Director of the American Cross, Benjamin Donner. Let's get you up to date on traffic and weather. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
We are seeing a quiet drive on I-15, 215, I-80, and the 21st South Freeway in Salt Lake County. But we still have a slow drive on southbound I-15 in Utah County. And this is as you're going from Benjamin through Payson. Better speeds are waiting for you by the time you hit Santaquin, so be patient going through that slow stretch. UTA is road therapy. Give your car a break and get more U-time. Plan your trip at rideuta.com or on the Transit app. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast. We're looking at our first dry weekend in about 2 to 3 weeks. It is a welcome sight. 53 today. We've got mostly cloudy skies and maybe a slight chance for a pop-up shower. 60 tomorrow, mostly sunny. We'll go to 63 with sunshine on Saturday. Sunday, 71, a little bit warmer, mostly sunny and breezy out of the south. We're looking at mostly cloudy skies on Monday, cold front, 54, slight chance for a little shower. 58, mostly sunny on Tuesday, and Wednesday, 61, blue skies. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Mostly cloudy in downtown Salt Lake City and 50 degrees, and the 7-day forecast is brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. You know, often when we think about losing weight, we think about the scale. But I have to tell you, after losing more than 40 pounds with the help of Salt Lake City Fat Loss, it is so much more than that. Can't tell you how much more energy I have, how much longer I can work out in my yard without having any sort of back spasms, all sorts of stuff like that. I just feel better and I look better. And I know it's hard to discern between all of these different plans that you can follow. But Salt Lake City Fat Loss is an all-natural plan. It strategically uses a combination of foods to help you drop the weight fast. And since those pounds come off quickly, you're more likely to stick with the plan. You know, my husband even lost weight. And the annoying thing is he wasn't on the plan. He was just eating the foods that I was eating. He lost more weight than me. And it's just a simple plan to follow. And it's less expensive than other plans because you don't have to buy things like breakfast bars and shakes. Plus, they have a great app that not only keeps you accountable, it gives you that opportunity to reach out and ask questions, voice concerns at any time. You can save $200 right now with their fall special. I've lost more than 40 pounds, but many of their clients lose up to a pound per day. Find out how at slcfatloss.com. That's slcfatloss.com, slcfatloss.com.
Many people worry they're not making the right investment choices inside their 401ks. Did you know that you might have a little-known opportunity to add some additional investment choices to your 401k and get the help and recommendations you've been looking for? This exciting feature is called a self-directed brokerage window. And the best part? The money still stays within your 401k. Learn how the trusted advisors at Capital Wealth may be able to expand your investment portfolio. To learn more, call or text the word VISIT to 801-877-9800 or go to CapitalWealth401k.com. Improving your 401k might mean the difference of retiring a few years earlier. Let's find out. Schedule your no-cost 15-minute consultation with the Capital Wealth team today. Call or text the word VISIT to 801-877-9800 or go to CapitalWealth401k.com. Advisory services offered through Capital Wealth Advisors, LLC, a state of Utah registered investment advisor.
Comcast Business can help turn your small business into a connected, secure, modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How healthcare offices become the data-protecting caregivers that we all depend on. And how wealth management firms become cyber-securing guardians of your information. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, and Wi-Fi backup, your business can stay connected and get threat-ready with Comcast Business. Powering possibilities.
Now through November 16th, new Comcast Business customers can get started with 150 megabit internet plus security for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig package. Call today. Restrictions apply. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and autopay with bank account. Early termination fee applies. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra.
We do have breaking news on KSL News Radio. Lawyers representing the League of Women Voters, Mormon Women for Ethical Government, and some other individuals are working to block the GOP's effort to overturn Prop 4 with a ballot initiative. They have filed an injunction with court filings saying that government reform initiatives adopted by majority vote are entitled to constitutional protections. Looking at your money at this moment, the Dow is down by 354 points, sitting at 45,898. S&P down by 59. The NASDAQ down by 200 points.
Hey guys, it's Woodrow from Mint Medical Clinic. Are you struggling with ED? Well, you are not alone, and now there's a real solution that treats the root cause, not just the symptoms. Introducing our trifecta approach, a breakthrough combination of acoustic wave therapy, hormone replacement, and cryotherapy, all designed to restore blood flow, boost performance, and rebalance your hormones. Whether it's ED or hormonal imbalance, if you're ready to reignite your love life, this treatment helps bring back your energy, your drive, and your confidence. And right now, when you call, you'll receive a free consultation, a blood flow ultrasound, and an intimacy gift. That's a $650 value, absolutely free. And here's the bonus. The next 20 callers will also receive a 5-night stay at a luxury resort in Hawaii just for taking the first step. But you must call now. With 2 convenient locations in Layton and Sandy, help is closer than you think. Call 801-804-8000 now. That's 801-804-8000. Mint Medical Clinic. We'll get you back to mint condition.
Progressive knows road trips without your pet can be tough.
Hi, this is Next Stop Dog Boarding.
Hi, it's Scott again. How's Squeaks doing? You can tell if he's stressed by his eyebrows. Oh, and his breathing should sound like this.
Scott, Squeaks is exactly the same as last time you called.
Okay, let's talk in 20 to see if anything's changed.
With Progressive, your pet is covered up to $1,000 in vet bills in case of a car accident. So next time, you can take your pet with you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Coverage for dogs and cats is included with the purchase of collision coverage and subject to policy terms.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27 and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Getting help with plumbing repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
For nearly 70 years, Les Olson IT has been the trusted name for businesses. From state-of-the-art printers and copiers to managed IT services, we have the solutions you need to stay ahead in today's world. And now Les Olson IT is trusted and licensed in Utah for security systems, for technology that helps you work smarter. Les Olson IT, providing solutions that empower your business.
Les Olson IT.
Traffic and weather brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape, Ricky.
We do have a rollover accident. This is going to be on the ramp from southbound I-215's West Belt to go to the 21st South Freeway. We're waiting for more emergency crews to arrive on the scene right now. Everybody is out of traffic over to the right shoulder. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
And a high today of 53. Still a 50% chance of showers. That chance going away for the weekend.
KSL FM Midvale. KSL Salt Lake City.
A scare in the air over Salt Lake City.
So big worry is if it were to fail,
you're going to have all this windshield debris coming into the pilots' faces.
The time is 1 o'clock on Thursday, October 16th. It's midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Coming up, from Denver to LA, a flight had to divert because of a cracked windshield. Also this hour,
Utes and Cougs, we're all family. We've got to protect each other.
more details about threats at the BYU-Utah game and how both schools are asking fans to focus on the fun and not the ugliness. But first, our top stories. The president of BYU is addressing safety and security for Saturday night's rivalry game between the Cougars and the Utes. President Shane Reese tells inside sources they will have over 130 officers in and around Lavelle Edwards Stadium.
We're trying to maximize safety. We want people to come and enjoy the event, but we want them to do so in a way that they feel safe.
Reese's comments come less than 48 hours after someone on social media threatened to shoot Ute fans at the game. The man accused of making the threats is now in jail. President Reese also says they are constantly monitoring security-related events and make adjustments to make sure that their security is top-notch. Our top national story from ABC News. President Trump says his call with Russian President Vladimir Putin was productive today ahead of his meeting tomorrow with Ukraine's President Zelensky.
President Trump's phone call with Russian President Vladimir Putin lasted more than 2 hours, and he says he believes, quote, great progress was made. They agreed there would be high-level U.S.-Russia meetings next week. Secretary of State Marco Rubio will lead the U.S. delegation. The president also said he and Putin will then meet in Hungary to see if they can bring the war to an end. But he doesn't say when that meeting would take place. Asked if the president believes conditions have changed to make a second meeting with Putin more successful than their Alaska summit in August, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said the president is, quote, always willing to take a chance at diplomacy. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
Other national stories KSL is following. Day 16 of the government shutdown shows us a different side of House Speaker Mike Johnson.
I don't like being mad, Mike. I want to be happy, Mike. I want to be the happy warrior, but I am so upset about this.
Democrats want to extend tax credits for the Affordable Care Act before they'll agree to a spending plan. Republicans say they won't negotiate until the shutdown is over. And taking a look at your money at this moment, markets have been down most of the day. The Dow right now down by 325 points, sitting at 45,927. S&P down by 30 points, and the NASDAQ down by 149 points. This October is now the 5th wettest month ever recorded in Salt Lake City history, but will the storms hamper Halloween? KSL News Radio's Randall Jepson has more.
KSL meteorologist Matt Johnson says he's tracking 2 storm systems out in the Pacific that could move in late October, maybe early November. And they look like cold storms, meaning we might not see just rain for Halloween. There's a chance we could see snow, but Johnson says it's still too early to say for sure.
This month, Salt Lake City has received close to 5 inches of rain. The wettest month ever recorded in Salt Lake was in September of 1982 with over 7 inches of rain. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
A rollover crash, emergency crews arriving at the scene. The vehicle went completely off the roadway. This is on the ramp from southbound I-215's West Belt to join the 21st South Freeway. While you're planning your day, plan for comfort too. The Good Feet store. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Still a 50% chance of showers today, but that chance of showers erased by tomorrow. The high up to 60, staying 63 for your rivalry game, probably by game time, though, about 50 degrees. Right now, 48 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Traffic's rough, but your parking lot doesn't have to be. GoPave Utah keeps things smooth with expert asphalt maintenance at GoPaveUtah.com. Call or visit GoPaveUtah.com.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. Also that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age. making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
When you take your grandkids to Disney, do they know what's in your investment portfolio? Do they even care? They're busy having a great time, and you're busy making memories. At Galileo Wealth Management, we understand the nuts and bolts of retirement planning, our investments, the stock market, taxes, Social Security, Medicare, and more. But think about it. What are you trying to do here? Is your goal to beat the S&P? Or is your goal to make memories with your family? Our goal is to give you the confidence to spend in retirement without the fear of running out of money. Call Todd Kim at Galileo Wealth Management today, 801-516-3227. That's 801-516-3227, or go online to GalileoWealth.com. Let Todd Kim and Galileo Wealth Management help you make memories, not just money.
Thanks for tuning into Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. A cracked windshield led a United flight from Denver to LA to make an unscheduled stop in Salt Lake City today. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera has the latest on that decision to divert. Eric?
Maria, United Flight 1093 was heading from Denver to Los Angeles when the pilots reported that crack. The plane landed safely here in Salt Lake City just after 7:30. Fire crews were waiting as a precaution. That's standard when something mechanical is reported in flight.
So, Eric, describe why a crack in the windshield would force a plane to land early.
Absolutely. So I spoke with a commercial pilot who flies for a major airline. He didn't want to be named out of concern for losing his job, but he explained that even a small crack can affect the windshield's strength and its built-in heating system that keeps ice from forming. Here's how he put it.
You're not really sure the integrity of that windshield. So a big worry is if it were to fail, you're going to have all this windshield debris coming into the pilot's faces. So they got to get the aircraft down quick that you couldn't see anymore. It could get worse as you continue the flight. So typically you're going to want to descend, get to a lower altitude as fast as possible, and get to a different field, divert it.
Okay, so it sounds like they just wanted to be ahead of a bigger problem, and it wasn't catastrophic or anything.
Exactly. He told me these windows are incredibly strong, multiple layers thick, but once there's a visible crack, they can't risk it spreading under pressure. Pilots are trained to descend, slow down, and head for the nearest major airport with maintenance support, and Salt Lake fits that perfectly.
Okay, so we've heard about birds hitting windshields of planes, but we haven't heard about cracked windshields. Is this kind of thing rare?
He said it's not as rare as most people might think. It can happen from hail, like you said, bird strikes, or even tiny imperfections in the glass that eventually give way.
Really for safety. We have two pilots. If one windshield cracks, then the other pilot can't see, the other one can. But it's just you want to be as safe as possible. There's so much redundancy built into these jets for safety. So, worst case, you have to divert. You go trade with another aircraft, another jet that might have at that field. We're trained to know which airports we know have a maintenance base where there's a high likelihood that there'll be a backup aircraft available that we can just swap everyone onto and then proceed further from there. So really for safety. We have two pilots. If one windshield cracks, then the other pilot can't see, the other one can. But it's just you want to be as safe as possible. There's so much redundancy built into these jets for safety. So, worst case, you have to divert. You go trade with another aircraft, another jet that might have at that field. We're trained to know which airports we know have a maintenance base where there's a high likelihood that there'll be a backup aircraft available that we can just swap everyone onto and then proceed further from there. So
okay, it's good to know that they're acting in our safety. So what happens with that aircraft now?
So the FAA has been notified, and the aircraft will stay on the ground here in Salt Lake until United's maintenance team replaces that panel and signs it off as safe. Then it can go back into service.
All right. Thanks, Eric. Everyone's safe. The system worked out. We all learned a little more about how these decisions get made. That is KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera. Nearly 300,000 Dodge Dart car models from 2013 to 2016 are being recalled because of an earlier recall that didn't work. Federal regulators say some of those cars could roll without warning because of a shifter cable that can detach from the transmission and keep that car from shifting into park. Affected owners will be notified by mail. So far, there are no reports of accidents or injuries. UNS School District is hoping people will change their driving habits around school buses. They've been handing out a lot more citations to see if that does the trick. Cynthia Shiner works in the district's transportation office and says they've also been trying to inform people about safety protocol through their social media platforms.
So we have a gentleman, Jeff Lysick, and he puts things out on Facebook, and we have had number times we've put things out to try and make the public aware of what the laws are with running red lights and when you should stop for a red light, when you don't have to stop. So we are just trying to come up with all kinds of different ways just to make the public aware.
Now, Schreiner used to be a bus driver and says she ran into a lot of people who didn't take bus safety seriously, but she wants to remind everyone that it's our children's lives at stake.
I've had numerous run-ins with different people. I had one instant where I was letting students off, and a driver came to my door side just as a student was getting ready to step off the step. And then I've had one that ran my reds almost on a daily basis. And when I honked my horn at him, he stopped his truck and got out and was not very happy and said this was a stupid bus stop. And I said, no, sir, stupid is putting children's lives at danger. Bus drivers, we are here at the same time, at the same day, same time every day, picking up and dropping off students. And if you want to not be caught with a bus stop, then avoid that time because we are there regularly.
And the uptick in violations has been steep. In September alone, there were 25 violations reported. That's about half of last year's total. And a citation carries a big price tag.
Red light runners. We call them red light runners. And I believe, I'm not quite sure exactly when the dates went into effect, but the state of Utah changed their laws, and it is now a $1,000 fine. It should be. Because our children's lives, you should not put a price tag on that. Just be vigilant and watch for those red lights and watch for the ambers that come on first. That's a warning that bus is going to stop, and be prepared to stop. And we're usually at a bus stop no more than a minute. And it's really not that long. And just be patient, let the kids get on, and just be vigilant.
The district hopes to get the message out that violators will probably be caught because they have camera footage. Shiner says they've had some close calls so far this year, but they're lucky that no one has gotten hurt so far. She hopes this information will keep it that way. Stay with us. We'll be back with more in just 60 seconds.
Hey, Doc, nice office. Quick question. If you had to choose, would you give yourself a root canal or run payroll?
Run payroll, no question.
Seriously? Well, have you run payroll before?
Paying my team with Gusto couldn't be easier. Gusto gives me unlimited payroll runs, next day direct deposits, and automatically files my taxes. Saves me time.
Wow, that's nice.
Over here, Doc. Can I run payroll too?
Choose payroll without the pain. Visit gusto.com/radio to sign up for free.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
The Mammoth had their regular season home opener last night, and fans got to experience the new special additions to the Delta Center. Smith Entertainment Group executive Jim Olson says it's improved the fan experience.
Any home opener is exciting, but when you have a home opener where you've completed, a large renovation project, and we have 1,100 new lower bowl seats. All of them have great sight lines and view of the complete ice. It's going to just be a packed house and a lot of fun. This is the best dual sport arena in the country, meaning, basketball and hockey, and the players feel the fans right on top of them. We were able to protect the sight lines for basketball and create great sight lines for hockey, and we have such a great venue where our fans are passionate and they're right on top of the action, and the players feel it.
But the projects at the Delta Center aren't over yet. Olson says they still have big plans for other areas in the arena.
Now what we'll do in the next 2 summers is work on the upper bowl. Next summer 26, we'll do one end of the upper bowl, kind of the same thing, make sure that every seat has a great sight line to the ice with no obstruction. And then in the summer 27, we'll do the other end of the upper bowl. And by the end of 27, we'll have, nearing 17,000 seats for hockey that have perfect sight lines with no obstructions, and about 19,000 for basketball. Same thing, no obstruction. Everything will be great. So 2 more summers of work, but we're real happy about the work that's been done so far.
More seats equals more fans, and the fan experience isn't complete without some merch. Fanatics Utah Team Store General Manager Brian Lee says everyone wants a sweater.
That's what's been so interesting about this fan base is they just want all of it, right? It's really hard to, obviously jerseys have been the number one, and then anything that's really the Fanatics Pro Authentic, all the on-ice stuff, that's always also been very popular.
Utah Mammoth fans who attended the home opener last night got a surprise when the team unveiled their new mascot. KSL sports anchor Sam Farnsworth was there for that unveiling.
There it is. Fans were asked to be in their seats early for the pregame festivities, which was the unveiling of that new mascot, bursting from a block of ice. Everyone's fluffy blue new friend, Tusky the Mammoth. Ryan and Ashley Smith said that they named him Tusky to lean into the team's new rallying cry, Tusks Up. Standing at 6 feet 5 inches, they say Tusky is, quote, a mascot that embodies the strength, momentum, and earth-shaking presence of birds that once roamed Utah more than 10,000 years ago.
You can read more about Tusky on KSLSports.com. Coming up, the latest on a social media threat against fans at the BYU-Utah rivalry game. But first, it's KSL Traffic. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
We do have delays that linger southbound to I-15 going from the Benjamin-Salem area through Payson. Salt Lake County freeways delay-free, but we do have an accident, a rollover on the ramp from southbound I-215's West Belt to go to the 21st South Freeway. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
The KSL News Radio app will update you on breaking stories.
Red Cross brought relief supplies.
And you'll get exclusive audio streams from local events, breaking news, and sports.
Cougars feel like they can overcome anything.
All of your favorite KSL hosts are there too, so you can listen anytime. Plus traffic and weather. Download it today. The app for KSL News Radio.
Hi, this is Doug Ryden. For years, I've been telling you about products I truly believe in and that we use in our home. And one is Kinetico. We all know the downsides of hard water, tough on home appliances, frustrating spots on shower doors, but it also affects your personality. When you shower, does the water feel invigorating? Hard water can leave your skin feeling sticky and itchy. A Kinetico soft water system changes everything. It's like having a luxurious spa experience when you shower, making your daily routine something you look forward to. Kinetico, it's a difference you can feel. Their patented system uses far less salt than competitors, and they're exclusively focused on water softeners. They're the experts in their field, and they'll show you the difference for free with no obligation to buy. Call Kinetico Quality Water Systems of Salt Lake, an authorized independent dealer, at 801-576-8600, or check them out online at softwaterutah.com. Start enjoying your water. Spoil yourself every day.
So my mother is thinking of switching from Verizon to Pure Talk, but she's worried the deal sounds too good to be true. Michael, she said, how can those Pure Talk people offer me the same basic service as Verizon for so much less money? I said, Ma, go ask Google how much Verizon spends on advertising and promotions. A few seconds later, my mother said, oh my goodness, $12 billion a year? That must be a typo. I'll tell you what I told my mom. It's not a typo. Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotions, and their customers are paying for it. Well, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. Trust me, I would know. That's why they can offer you and my mother unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a crazy fast 5G network for just $25 a month. And if you're a business owner, you could really save a fortune. Dial pound 250, say the words Mike Rowe, and you'll get an additional 50% off your first month. That's pound 250 Mike Rowe. Pure Talk. Everything you need and nothing you don't.
Worried about market losses? If headlines are keeping you up at night, it's time to take control. Hi, I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and I know you've worked hard to save. But in times like these, what if can turn into what now? If you're planning to retire or are in retirement, you need a strategy that helps protect your future. At Trajan Wealth, you can capture market gains, protect your account from losses, and guarantee income for life. Right now, you could receive a bonus of up to 30% or annual growth of up to 10% for retirement income. You heard me right. An upfront bonus of up to 30% or annual growth of up to 10%, all guaranteed to boost your lifetime income in retirement. Don't leave your future to chance. Plan with confidence. Call Trajan today at 801-899-7600. That's 801-899-7600.
Annuity guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company, DBA, in most states, as Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything! The Capital One Saver card is at table 27 and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu!
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
That sound only means one thing. It's time for another Cougar keyword and your chance to win tickets to this weekend's BYU-Utah rivalry game. The Cougar keyword this hour is Lavelle. As in the great coach, Lavelle Edwards. You need to text the word Lavelle. That's Lavell to 57500. You'll be entered to win a pair of tickets to the game this Saturday. And then make sure you come back in 1 hour for another chance to win right here on KSL, the legacy home of the BYU Cougars. We've had 2 winners so far, John Elegant of Orem, and the Wednesday winner was Maria Luckham of Layton. You are listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. We are streaming on the KSL News Radio app, sponsored by At Your Service Pros. University of Utah is getting into the rivalry game spirit. The school posted a video showing the letter Y crossed out in red tape in words on buildings and signs around campus. We have new details today about the arrest of a man from Emery County accused of threatening to kill Utah fans at this weekend's BYU game in Provo. KSL TV's Sarah Martin spoke to some of the people who tipped police off to the threats.
Ivan, who goes by Ute Van Ivan on X, saw those concerning posts pile up. He was one of many to report them.
There's a big difference between rage baiting and threatening people's lives.
Whether he was going to do it or not, it could be a mental cry for help.
Spencer interacted with the messages directly, reported his concerns to the Provo Police Department.
It's just better to be safe than sorry later on, and we've seen that way too much here in America.
Both fans told me this won't keep them from enjoying the game Saturday.
I'm going to go to the game, and I'm going to have a good time.
Utes and Cougs, we're all family. We've got to protect each other.
The threats were made on social media, and social media also led to the arrest. KSL legal analyst Greg Skorda spoke earlier with Amanda Dixon about what was said and how serious the law may have seen it.
He posted this. He said, I will be at LES, Lavelle Edwards Stadium, Saturday. Any Ute fan I see is dead. Mark my words. And anyone wearing red Saturday is getting shot. So obviously, in light of everything that's going on right now in our country, and especially after the Charlie Kirk assassination, the authorities are taking this very, 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 very seriously. He was caught. He's actually on probation, so his social media was more easily accessible. You give up your right to privacy a little bit when you're on probation, so they were able to track him down. He's in custody now. My guess is whether he's charged or not, he's going to stay in custody at least until after the game, and then they'll decide what to charge him with. But the threats themselves would probably be a misdemeanor charge, I mean, just by itself. But given the timing of everything, I think the authorities are taking it very, very seriously.
So the threat to kill someone is a misdemeanor.
Right. A threat of violence. I mean, it's just you post something online, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to do something. That's unless you take a substantial step in the direction.
Okay.
But a threat itself is not, or let's say you cause the evacuation of a building. Mm-hmm. You call it a bomb threat, and it causes a building to be evacuated. That would make it more serious. But just posting online by itself is a misdemeanor. It can be elevated to a felony if certain other events are occurring.
So free speech does not protect your right to threaten somebody with harm.
Correct. If it's a legitimate threat, I mean, you can say, I wish someone was harmed or something like that. But if you say, I'm going to carry out this act.
It has to be specific like
right,
that.
Yes. Then that could be what we call a terroristic threat or a threat of violence. That's a misdemeanor all by itself.
Well, presidents of BYU and Utah for a second year in a row have released a video ahead of the rivalry game asking fans to tone down the attacks and anger and just enjoy the game.
Competition brings out our best. Our coaches, teammates, they all make us stronger. And so do the ones across the field. It's why we look forward to Saturdays. The rivalry drives our athletes, fuels our fans, the entire community. When our fiercest competitors are our friends, even family, the game means even more. We all want our team to win, but sometimes the game gets the better of us. We owe it to ourselves, our friends, and our communities to treat each other with respect. Because when we lift each other up, we rival right.
President Shane Reese and President Taylor Randall both call for fans to have mutual respect for one another. BYU's Reese told KSL News Radio earlier both he and the U's President Randall felt it was an important message to send.
Well, Taylor Randall and I, President Randall at the University of Utah, are great friends. We look for ways that we can collaborate. And a couple years ago, we looked at it and we said, this rivalry it sometimes gets the best of us. We feel like there are players who played for each institution who are currently playing at the other institution. There are coaches who played for the other institution and coaches who have coached at the other institution. So it turns out that so many connections. And boy, you just look around Utah, there are families where family members, one went to the University of Utah and the other one went to BYU. So with all of these deep connections, we just felt like it was an important time for the two of us to lean in and remind everybody that we care deeply about what happens on the field, both of us. But at the end of the day, we all reside so close to one another and in the same community, and that the sort of competition, we just feel like it needs to have an appropriate level of fervor, and that it needs to, once the game's over, we need to remind ourselves that we're all in the same community and that it ought to be a rival that we can do the right way.
President Reese tells Inside Sources fans can also feel reassured about their safety and know that BYU takes it very seriously.
We also are absolutely committed to the safety at the game. We take safety and security very seriously on this campus. We monitor all security-related events that have occurred in recent years, and we continually try to make adjustments and improve. Over the past several years, we've actually increased our investment in our security systems. That includes our personnel, our processes. We're trying to maximize safety. We want people to come and enjoy the event, but we want them to do so in a way that they feel safe. We'll have over 130 officers at the stadium and outside helping us with all kinds of safety-related issues. Our security and police officers, we contract with over 17 outside agencies to assist us on game days, and they're trained and committed to provide a safe and a secure environment so that everybody can come and enjoy the rivalry.
The game kicks off Saturday at 6 here on KSL News Radio. Our pregame coverage starts at noon with Mitch Harper and Cougar Sports Saturday and his crew. It's 1:30, midday at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we are watching this hour. How data centers are driving up electricity prices. Why that new car will cost you more than ever before. And KSL traffic. Ricky?
Slowdowns continue in Utah County, southbound I-15 through Payson. Maria?
KSL's top local stories in 1 minute.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The Senate failed to pass a measure to end the shutdown again, now in its third week. Lawmakers leaving for the weekend. Earlier, Senator Mitch McConnell suffering a fall at the Capitol. ABC's Perry Russum says he's okay.
He was walking in the hallway when two volunteers who were asking him questions about ICE approached. He then fell to the ground. This is not the first time the senator has fallen. He fell back in February. Also back in February, the 83-year-old senator from Kentucky announced that he would not be seeking re-election.
The Red Cross says it's helped transfer 30 bodies from Israeli authorities to the Hamas-run Gaza ministry. In all, Israel has returned 120 bodies since the ceasefire began. Israel continues to say Hamas has yet to return all deceased hostages. John Bolton, former national security advisor under the first Trump administration, is expected to face a federal indictment later today. Sources tell ABC News. Prosecutors in Maryland say it's over his alleged mishandling of classified documents. This is ABC News.
KSL's top local story. Lawyers representing the League of Women Voters block the GOP's effort to overturn a voter-backed initiative calling for an independent redistricting commission. The state Republican Party said earlier this week it wanted to gather signatures to repeal Prop 4. The plaintiffs who sued over the legislature's maps have filed a new injunction related to that effort. Their court filings say government reform initiatives adopted by majority vote are entitled to constitutional protections. The Salt Lake County District Attorney is working with local law enforcement agencies to make stronger cases against domestic violence perpetrators. KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson explains.
Salt Lake County DA Sim Gill says they've been working on training local officers so they know what evidence is needed for a conviction.
We believe that strengthening the cases at the initial crime scene response could enhance our chances even if a survivor chooses not to cooperate further with that prosecution.
He says part of the key to that is trauma-informed care of the victims and connecting survivors with support services, because keeping them engaged in the case could mean all the difference. Gill says in the last 5 years, they've been presented with 24,000 potential domestic violence cases, but they've only filed charges in about 15,000. But he said last year they started closing the gap between cases submitted to them and cases with enough evidence to support filing charges. In Salt Lake City, Heather Peterson, KSL News Radio.
Other local stories KSL is following. Drivers will face detours and delays on North Temple this weekend. KSL News Radio's Heather Kelly has details.
North Temple will be completely closed starting tomorrow through Sunday between Redwood Road and 2400 West. It's due to the construction that's happening on the I-215 West Belt. UDOT states in a Facebook post, the closure is needed so crews can build a temporary bridge deck, which will catch debris when they start demolition to the freeway. That also means the stops between North Temple Bridge and Guadalupe on the Green Tracks line will also be closed, so UTA will run a shuttle bus to and from those stops. They say to expect up to 45-minute delays this weekend. Heather Kelly, KSL News Radio.
Your money at this moment, the Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ, all three down by nearly 1% at this hour. The Dow's off by 432 points, sitting at 45,821. S&P down by 66, and the NASDAQ down by 209 points. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
We do have crews on the scene of a rollover crash. This is on the ramp from southbound I-215's West Belt to join the 21st South Freeway. The ramp is open, though. All vehicles are over to the right shoulder. Salt Lake County Freeway is still seeing a good drive, but delays linger southbound I-15 leaving Spanish Fork through Payson. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Still a 50% chance of showers this afternoon, decreasing tonight. Tomorrow, it looks like a 0% chance of rain, and that's the way it's going to be for the next few days until we get to Monday. So the weekend looks dry. And then the highs will be back in the 60s, up to 71 by Sunday. 50 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Any Hour Services free furnace sale is going on right now. If you haven't scheduled your free estimate yet, what are you waiting for? Call Any Hour Services today or schedule online at anyhourservices.com.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
He's Donald Trump's #1 enemy in Congress, Chicago politician Dick Durbin. Now, Durbin has a new scheme. He's doing the dirty work to benefit corporate megastores. Durbin's bill could cut corners on your credit card security, putting your personal data at risk. Big chain retailers and warehouse stores want to inflate their profits, and liberal Dick Durbin would help them do it. Tell senators, say no to the megastores and Dick Durbin. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
If you are facing divorce, call Cordell and Cordell today.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
If you are facing divorce, contact Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. CordellCordell.com.
You are listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. I-215 near Parley's Canyon will close for 10 nights starting tonight. John Gleason with UDOT says they will try to make it as commuter-friendly as possible by just working overnight and clearing the road during the day hours. But ultimately, the work needs to be done.
This is actually repair work that we have to do on the 215 bridge that is near the mouth of Parley's Canyon. What we believe happened is that an oversized truck may have hit it earlier on this year, but it's damage that we want to get fixed so that we can get the life out of the bridge that we expect, and it is going to be work that we have to do overnight. So we're going to try to avoid working in those times of day that more traffic is out on the road, but it does require us to close 215 for 10 nights near Parley's Canyon right there.
And he breaks down what exactly he means by overnight so you can best plan if you have to travel that way. He also has some tips on the routes to take if this closure affects you.
We could see the closure on I-215 start as early as 9 o'clock. There are going to be some times that it's a little bit later, but typically during the week, we should expect the closure to happen around 9 o'clock, and then we'll open it up again in time for the morning commute about 6 a.m. on weekdays. And so, again, we're trying to avoid working in those times that the most traffic is out on the roads. And we want to get people to where they're going safely and efficiently, but it is work that needs to be done. And so we're going to work in the overnight hours, and that's when we'll have I-215 down. One note that I had put in here was that drivers that are using Foothill Drive should try to avoid the Reno to Cheyenne exit leading to I-80. That's the ramp that merges with 215, and drivers would run right into that closure. Anyone that's exiting Foothill Drive to Reno, Cheyenne, they'd be forced to enter Parley's Canyon and use the Mount Air Canyon Road to turn around. That can be a pretty big delay there if you're not careful. So try to avoid using the Reno Cheyenne exit if you're driving on Foothill.
Both North Temple and the Green Line track stations between Redwood Road and 2400 West will be closed this weekend. KSL News Radio's Heather Kelly has more on that.
UDOT says the closure is to build a temporary bridge deck to assist during the demolition of a portion of I-215's West Belt. In their Facebook post, they state the closure is from Friday night through Sunday, and the Green Line stations between North Temple Bridge and Guadalupe will also be closed, so a bus bridge will be in place.
UTA says TRAX riders should expect up to 45-minute delays. Another closure to be aware of this weekend is southbound I-15 in Roy near 5600 South. They will be closing some lanes to continue work on the freeway project near the entrance to Hill Air Force Base. All the recent construction on Salt Lake City roads may not have a big impact on improving safety. UDOT says this series of road projects had little impact on traffic and the surrounding environment. Now, the project sparked a state-ordered review earlier this year. Utah already invests heavily in its youth, but a new report suggests the funds could be more effective if coordinated with local initiatives. Kempsey Gardner reports public-private initiatives like Promise South Salt Lake and the Roy Cone Project can lead to better graduation rates, improved academics, and lower youth crime. Lead author of the study, Andrea Thomas Brandley, says these initiatives can be so effective because they can bring many different groups and people together.
If we all have, similar goals to try to improve these educational and economic outcomes for kids, there's lots of players that are trying to do that. How can we all, get on the same page and try to work together to kind of elevate the impact?
Local initiatives can also focus solely on the needs and resources within their own community. A Utah State representative wants to undo a law requiring hunting or fishing licenses to use trails in wildlife management areas. Representative David Schallenberger's new bill would exchange the license requirement with education.
If we can help educate people on what a WMA is and what makes it unique and separate from other public lands, that's a win. And if we can also then create a sense of stewardship with the people that are using these lands, that's a double win.
The committee voted unanimously to recommend this bill to the full legislature during the next session. Lawmakers are already hard at work on legislation for the 2026 session. House Speaker Mike Schultz tells Inside Sources some priorities are already emerging.
Education is always going to be top of mind for us here in the state of Utah. We have more kids per capita than any other state in the nation. So education will always be top of mind. 60% of the state's budget, 60% of the entire state's budget goes to education. So that will always be top of mind here in the state of Utah. Energy prices, and I think the gas tax that the gas prices that we've been talking about will always be top of mind. The policies that we put into place have maintained Utah having the lowest energy prices in the nation. We want to continue that, and so we have to stay on top of that. So that would be something that we're continuously working on. And then also the cost of living. The cost of living here in the state of Utah and across the country, we're going to be looking at ways, what can we do to lower the cost of living here in this for citizens in the state.
We asked the speaker to say more about what Utah hopes to do to address other rising costs like gas prices.
Some of the surrounding states, Colorado, Wyoming, Arizona, in some cases, Utah is paying up to 50 cents more per gallon and than what those states are paying. And when you look at how Utah compares nationally over the last couple months since I've really been looking at it, Utah is paying about 30 cents more per gallon than what the average is nationally. And so Representative Cal Roberts and I have been looking into this as to, okay, why? What are the reasons? What can be done? And so that's a big issue that came up. It's an issue that I think the citizens of the state are really focused on, mainly because the cost of living, not just here in Utah, but all across the country.
The 2026 legislative session begins January 20th. Midday continues in just 60 seconds.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
Data centers could be driving up your utility bills. ABC News correspondent Rebecca Jarvis has the breakdown.
There are two most common ways to heat your home, electricity and natural gas. Most of the country uses one of these. Now, if it's electricity, and a lot of the southern U.S. uses that, unfortunately, prices there are expected to climb 4%. The average, $1,133, according to the government. If it's natural gas, prices could drop a bit to $642. So why are we seeing this rise in electricity prices? Well, for years, electricity demand remained flat. There were little infrastructure investments. We've been hit by weather, but now we've seen this big increase in demand from electric cars, from appliances, and then the really significant culprit, AI data centers. They have become a hot button issue. They've seen candidates from both political parties point to this issue, especially in Virginia, which is home to Data Center Alley. And according to a report from Bloomberg, electricity now costs 267% more in a month than it did 5 years ago in areas that are located near significant data center activity. So that does have a pretty big impact.
Again, natural gas bills could go down slightly, but the electric bills are headed the other way. The average price to buy a car is now over $50,000 for the first time ever. Kelley Blue Book's Sean Tucker sat down to talk about the reasons why with the Start Here podcast host Brad Milkey. Tucker says it's the higher-priced luxury cars that are driving up the average.
First of all, prices always go up in the fall because the new model year begins. So the 2026s are rolling onto lots and they cost more than the 2025s. That's normal. What's abnormal is that 7.5% of the cars Americans bought last month cost $75,000 or more.
He says that's double the usual rate. So why are so many Americans suddenly buying all these super expensive cars in September? Well, something important happened then. The credit you got for buying an electric vehicle expired at the end of the month as part of the so-called Big Beautiful Bill.
So we're seeing an awful lot of people who are interested in an EV who otherwise might have bought in October, November, December. They rushed to buy in September, and electric cars cost more than gas-powered cars.
So that's one reason, people buying more expensive cars. But Sean says this is not just a one-off price hike.
We think the number will dip down below $50,000 again when October's numbers come out, because all of those EV purchases will not be happening next month. However, it'll probably crest the $50,000 mark permanently sometime next year, just because that's how inflation is going with it.
A side effect for electric car dealers could be how soon they get paid for those tax credits. Customers were able to claim the tax credit at the time of their purchase, and then the dealers would get reimbursed later by the IRS. But several dealers are saying the system that they use to get reimbursed changed in mid-September, requiring a lot more information on their end to prove the sales. And with many car sales marked as pending rather than paid out right away, and there was no comment from the IRS before the shutdown began, leaving that money in limbo. Coming up, mosquitoes are already pesky enough, and now they're invasive. But first, it's KSL Traffic, brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
We're in the final cleanup of an earlier rollover crash on the ramp from southbound I-215's West Belt to join the 21st South Freeway. All vehicles are over to the right shoulder. Delays linger southbound I-15 in Utah County, leaving Spanish Fork and going through Payson. Titanic, the exhibition, opens October 17th at the shops at Southtown. Step aboard to experience full-scale recreations, see artifacts, and hear real passenger stories. Don't miss it. Book passage today at titanicexhibition.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Cooler weather. What a relief, unless you have old drafty windows. Soon the heat will escape through the cracks and your energy bill's going to go through the roof. So now's the time to call Advanced Window Products and get brand new state-of-the-art custom windows and frames at factory direct pricing. The factory is right here in Salt Lake City, where they've been building precision windows since 1986, and you're going to save a lot of money since there's no middleman markup. You save 30, even 40% on your new windows. Even better, call now and they'll give you an extra $2,500 off. on 10 windows or more. Double pane argon-filled windows with a low-energy triple coating, any style, any color, and advanced windows gives you a lifetime warranty. If you have an issue, they're not 10 states away. They're right here in town, and they offer 0% 60-month financing. So make the call now. Get $2,500 off. 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100, or go to advancedwindows.com.
The Greenhouse Show airs live with Community Action Services and the Food Bank at the BYU Cougar Run this Saturday, 8 to 11 at Robinson Field. Come join Ton and me and donate food or funds to help BYU and Utah tackle hunger together.
Rivalry Week is here, and KSL News Radio has your tickets to this year's BYU-Utah game. Tune in every hour and listen for a Cougar keyword. When you hear it, text it to 57500 for your chance to win. We'll pick a new winner each day. The more Cougar keywords you catch, the better chance you have to win. Find details and sweepstakes rules at KSLNewsRadio.com. KSL News Radio, the legacy home of BYU football.
If you have Medicaid and are new to Medicare, you may qualify to enroll in a Humana Medicare Advantage dual-eligible special needs plan with a lot more benefits like dental, vision, and hearing, along with helpful support when you need it most. Now is the time to see if you qualify to enroll. It only takes a few minutes to find out if you're eligible. Our licensed sales agents are ready to help you understand your options. So this Medicare planning season, we can help you plan well. Learn more at humanaduals.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a dual-eligible special needs PPO SNP plan with a Medicare contract and a contract with the state Medicaid program. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
Hi, this is Doug Wright. The other night, I had the chance to see a brand new play at Hale Center Theater, and it's the musical comedy Murders of 1940. And I'm just going to read what I wrote to Sally Dietlein right after I got out to my truck. I just had to let her know how much I enjoyed it, and I said, a black and white screwball film noir comedy complete with Nazis you have outdone yourself. This is so unique. The entire play, save only one character, is in black and white. Sally wrote back and said, yeah, I think it's the first time we've ever done, and she used this term, grayscape. It is so unique. You are going to love it. And then just down the hall, Sister Act is showing, and all kinds of wonderful performances still to come, like Frozen. We've already got our tickets for our grandkids. Go to hct.org or get your tickets at the box office. And don't forget, get your 2026 season tickets.
Jim Weber is here from Foothill Oriental Rugs. And Jim, it's always exciting to have you here because then we know it's the semi-annual sale. First of all, people have been concerned about tariffs. Have the tariffs impacted the price of your rugs?
They're going to in the future for sure. All the rugs in my inventory, the tariffs haven't impacted them at all. So these are pre-tariff prices, and our regular prices are better than anyone in town. So when we put them on sale, it's a real sale price.
So not only is it lovely to be able to come into your gallery and see and feel these rugs, but you really offer a unique experience because they can even try out some of these rugs in their home.
We'll explain different designs to you in different countries of origin. And yes, we recommend that people take rugs home to try them before they make a decision. If you've ever needed a rug, this is a great time to come in and look at rugs because our retail prices are better than the industry on average. And right now, they're marked down up to 70% off.
Don't miss out. The semi-annual sale is underway now at Foothill Oriental Rugs, 1460 South Foothill Drive, just south of Foothill Village. This is Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. A new clinic is open with the goal of screening firefighters for cancer. 6 months ago, the Utah legislature approved a bill that funds the clinic for 3 years. For many, this is the difference between life and death. KSL TV's Debbie Worthen has more.
I was diagnosed with stage 4 prostate cancer and kidney cancer.
Lehigh Fire Chief Jeremy Kraft got that diagnosis last year while on a trip to Arizona. He was part of a group of fire chiefs touring a clinic there that screens firefighters for cancer. Of the 6 screened, only 1 came back with clean results.
And I'll always remember that feeling, and We'll make sure that doesn't happen here as much as possible.
Even before getting the bad news, he and a few other key players were already at work. His diagnosis only strengthened his commitment.
We just really need to change the narrative on cancer in firefighters.
Brad Wardle is the director of the Utah Fire and Rescue Academy and the chair for the Utah Firefighter Task Force.
The only way we know how to deal with cancer right now is to find it early.
That's what this clinic will do with thorough scans.
There are actually 14 of these cancers with elevated risks in firefighters.
Dr. Kurt Hegman started tracking cancers in first responders 20 years ago.
When you ultimately find something, you don't know at that point whether you've saved their life or not. That's still to be determined, but you know you gave them a fighting chance to actually survive and thrive into retirement.
Now, with this new clinic in place, 500 firefighters will get screened each year with more complete testing than Chief Kraft imagined possible.
Literally, there is nobody or no organization that is testing firefighters like we are now for cancer.
That full story is online at ksltv.com. There's a public health advisory for southern Utah because of a major increase in an invasive species of mosquito. Sean Ammett with the Southwest Mosquito Abatement and Control District explains some of the health risks associated with this particular breed of mosquito.
Any time of day, they'll come and bite. And they usually like thin skin areas. And one mosquito will bite up to 12 different times for one blood meal. So you think you might have, a whole swarm of mosquitoes. It's just one mosquito and they'll bite you a whole bunch. So you'll have 12 different bites. But they do affect people more because they are a new species to an area. And so the allergic reaction you get from their bite is going to possibly swell up more. It's going to be itchier until your body has gotten accustomed to that type of allergic reaction to it. People are more concerned about it. Some people have gone to the hospital because they don't know what's going on.
These mosquitoes are container mosquitoes. So rather than laying eggs in marshy areas, they look for small amounts of standing water in urban and suburban areas. Ammett says there have been a lot found in wheelbarrows, planters, storage totes, and buckets. But since they are invasive, how did they get here?
Meaning that they're something that has either been brought in or has come in and established itself. So it was not here. We knew it was not here. It's not supposed to be here. It's a tropical mosquito. Now it is pretty well established, and it shows up every year now. For the last 3 years, it's shown up. No matter what kind of efforts we've taken, we believe they probably came in. We were thinking it was tourist-based because we get a lot of tourists, but we believe it was probably through mulch and potting soil. That had been packaged and collected in areas that did have these mosquitoes. They laid their eggs in the soil and put in that potting soil and mulch and then packaged and sold in our area.
And this breed has eluded experts. It showed up many years ago and then went away, but it seems to be back with a vengeance.
We first detected it actually in the area in 2013, and then it disappeared for 7 years. 2020, we found some more in downtown St. George, and then back out to the original site close to Leeds. And then about 2021, 22, it just started a little bit at a time showing up. And now this year, it's just gone crazy. We put together a GIS mapping site just so we could map the different locations that we're tracking where we found them. And I think we stopped counting at 12 different unique neighborhoods. And now most of those neighborhoods have just they've merged together because we just keep finding more sites and more sites.
Ammett says this year there's been an increase in service calls for these mosquitoes. He's gone up to 40 calls in one day. If you are experiencing day-biting mosquitoes in southern Utah, I want you to give the Southwest Mosquito Abatement and Control District a call.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
A third of a year's worth of rain in just 2 weeks.
The average annual rainfall in Salt Lake City is about 15 inches.
The time is 2 o'clock on Thursday, October 16th. It's midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Coming up, rainfall records are falling like, well, rain. Also this hour,
Tuskegee 1-0, so I think we've got a big season ahead of us, absolutely.
the Utah Mammoth get a new mascot. But first, our top stories. The president of BYU says they will have a big security presence for Saturday night's rivalry game between the Cougars and the Utes.
BYU President Shane Reese addressed their security plans not even 48 hours after someone on social media threatened to shoot Utah fans at Saturday's game. The man accused of making those threats is now in jail. For starters, Reese tells inside sources they'll have over 130 officers in and around Lavelle Edwards Stadium the day of the game.
We're trying to maximize safety. We want people to come and enjoy the event, but we want them to do so in a way that they feel safe.
President Reese says they're also constantly monitoring security-related events, some of them going back years, and make adjustments based off them. He also says they've been increasing their investment in their security, including their personnel and their processes in recent years. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Our top national story from ABC News, the ceasefire in Gaza is holding, even as Israel accuses Hamas of not holding up its end of the deal. Israel says Hamas did not return the remains of all of the hostages who have died. In return, Israel is cutting off aid into Gaza.
Today, Israel is due to open the Rafah crossing in the south to allow people to move, particularly sick people, to get out of Gaza for treatment, but there's no expectation, and they've said they will not allow more aid in through Rafah. So for now, there is still only quite limited aid getting in. And we are hearing from some reports that people in Gaza are still stockpiling food because many of them fear that ultimately this conflict could still resume.
That is ABC's Patrick Reevell there. Another feud between President Trump and California's governor over the president's plan to fire missiles over a major freeway this weekend.
On Wednesday, Governor Gavin Newsom's office indicated the Trump administration was planning to shoot missiles from ships into Camp Pendleton between L.A. and San Diego over Interstate 5 or close to it, which would cause the freeway to be shut down on Friday and Saturday. The Marines quickly said that's not true, that all events for a live fire demonstration in front of Vice President J.D. Vance to celebrate the Marine Corps' 250th anniversary will be on approved training grounds and there will be no impact to any freeways or public roads. Today, Newsom's office is saying it's relieved that the White House has backed off plans to shut down the interstate, although it's not clear that was ever actually the plan. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
And your money at this moment, it was a sell-off on Wall Street. The Dow ending the day down by 301 points, ending at 45,952. S&P down by 42 points. The NASDAQ down by 108 points. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Here's Ricky Meese.
Still some wet roads out there. Some areas are drying out, and we still have the cleanup of an earlier rollover accident on the ramp from southbound of the West Belt of I-215 to join the 21st South Freeway. Slowdowns remain southbound I-15, leaving Spanish Fork down to Santaquin. The Good Feet store supporting you with comfort no matter what the day brings. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Still a 50% chance of showers across the Wasatch Front this afternoon, but decreasing during the evening hours. Tomorrow, not a chance of rain. The temperature, the high climbing up into the 60s, up to 71 by Sunday, and it looks like a dry weekend. 50 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Donate your car to Charity Hotline. This is Roger.
Hi,
Roger would like to donate my car.
Yeah, good. Leave the keys in it, park it on the street, and we'll send a thug. I mean, tow.
Where's your office?
In New Jersey. Where do you want it to be?
Well, Roger,
Yeah.
I want to make sure my donation helps Utah kidney patients.
It will.
Which ones?
Well, does it matter?
Yes, I want the money to stay in Utah.
And boy, have you got the wrong number.
If you want your car donation to help people here in Utah, turn your car into a kidney car for the National Kidney Foundation of Utah and Idaho. Hi, this is Luz Lewis Perez. Kidney Cars is the Beehive State's #1 choice for charity car donation since 1990. When you donate your car to Kidney Cars, funding stays in Utah to help local Utah kidney patients and funds local medical research. Kidney Cars gets donors the highest tax deduction, along with free towing. Visit towcars.org and learn more. That's Tow Cars with a K like kidney. That's TOWKARS.org.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
Thanks for tuning into Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. For the first time this season, UDOT and police invoked the traction law for Little Cottonwood Canyon earlier this morning, a sure sign that ski season is around the corner. The traction law requires all drivers to have chains, snow tires, or either all-wheel or four-wheel drive. Alta is reporting 7 inches of snow in the last 24 hours and counting. Lots of rain and cooler temps are still in the forecast. Does that mean we've got snow coming up in the near future? And are we going to break any more records? Some areas got some impressive rain totals over the last couple of weeks, so much so that we've shattered some records, according to KSL meteorologist Matt Johnson.
Yeah, it's just impressive what we've seen. And again, we stress this, and we can't stress this enough. It's amazing to see the fire hose flip on after such a dry, abysmal summer. So running through some of the numbers, we're absolutely crushing the October record.
Wow.
The wettest October ever recorded was in 1981, and that was 3.91. We currently sit at 4.96 and maybe a little extra change because we've seen some rain since I recorded that number on the rain gauge. Now, the conversation is now entering the leaderboard for the wettest month ever. Not just wettest October, but we're now in the running and entering the leaderboard at number 5.
Wow.
We have 4.96 on the month. The wettest month ever, not just October, wettest month ever in Salt Lake City was September of 1982 when we hit 7.04 inches of water within the month of September. That's just crazy because the average annual rainfall in Salt Lake City is about 15 inches.
Inside Sources host Greg Scoris and Holly Richardson asked Matt whether we're going to break any more records in the near future and what the winter outlook is.
Now, I did a little extra research because this has been the biggest question that everyone's been asking me online, and probably what a lot of our listeners want to hear is, what is this indicative of as far as winter is concerned?
Mm-hmm.
Will this be a fruitful winter? Well, let me give you some insight. We just saw one of our biggest winters. Our biggest snowpack is 2023 at 30 inches of snow water equivalent. Now, second place is 1983. That's the year everybody talks about because that's when the flooding was. We saw 26 inches of snow water equivalent. Guess what third place is? 1982.
Oh.
And we just talked about that number because 1982 was the year that we saw our wettest month ever recorded, that September number of 7.04 inches. 1984, that is the number 4 spot, and that was 25.2 inches. And if I'm not mistaken, 1984 is on the leaderboard for one of the wettest Octobers ever recorded. Yes, number 4, 1984, that October. So I guess what I'm trying to shine some light on is the years that we saw some of our most fruitful snowpacks in recorded history were in the early to mid 1980s, and we started off hot in October. And so it could be indicative, right? We have some data backing that, but there's no hard evidence that this is a sure sign.
There you have it. Alta Ski Resort recorded 7 inches of fresh powder in the last 24 hours, and both Alta and Snowbird are expecting more snow to accumulate through the day today. The Red Cross of Utah is keeping a close eye on flood risks today and more rain impacting areas across the state. That means keeping volunteers and staff members on hot standby just in case the water starts rising. Joining me live is Jeremiah LaFranca, the Executive Director of the Greater Salt Lake Chapter. Thanks so much for being with me.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Okay, so does the Red Cross of Utah just more or less just stay on standby for disasters?
It seems like lately we do. We respond to disasters both large and small, whether it's a single-family house or there's a flooding event that affects, an entire neighborhood. We're ready to go.
So are you constantly scanning the weather to decide how alert you need to be?
We are. So we stay in close touch with emergency management departments. So when we see wildfire pop up, we make sure that we're in contact with the emergency manager in that area. We try to make sure that, we know what's going on, kind of what the wind directions are, so we can prepare and send out teams at a kind of pre-stage and make sure that we're in the right place at the right time.
So what does it look like right now? Are there some areas or potential areas of risk?
Right now, we're just watching, just kind of see with the rains that we've had coming in, when there are areas that have been hit by wildfires, you have those burn scars, and we start to see flooding in those types of areas. So it's something that we just are kind of keeping in closer contact with the counties and making sure we're aware of any kind of warning signs with the heavy rains that have been happening.
I'm wondering how many people are really aware that they are at risk. I mean, did you have to be in a floodplain to be at risk?
Not necessarily. Really, it just depends. Salt Lake City was a prime example of that. We had a neighborhood that had flooding that occurred. It impacted several homes. There was actually 5 that had major damage, 24 that had minor, and it was because there was a blocked drainage system. So that backed up real quick, caused some damage there. We were able to provide some assistance, cleanup kits to assist those people, but it was something that happened fast.
So is there something that people should be doing or could be doing to mitigate their chances of flood damage?
Yeah, I think there's small things that we can do, right? Like make sure our downspouts are, putting outwards, make sure your gutters are cleaned out so they're not clogging up and you don't have that accumulating water and then it suddenly floods the ground and soaks it up right around your home. Make sure that you're checking around your windowsills if there's any spots, especially with basements, where there might be a chance where water could leak in. That oftentimes will happen for people in basement areas. Also, just make sure that if you see heavy rains coming in, that you're checking in with the emergency management in your area, just to see if there's any warnings or any flash flood warnings or anything of that nature, so that way you know what to prepare for.
Jeremiah, I appreciate your help. Thanks so much for being with me.
Yeah, thank you.
Joining me live is Jeremiah LaFranca, the Executive Director of the Greater Salt Lake Chapter of the American Red Cross. Stay with us. We'll be back with more in just 60 seconds.
Many Medicare health insurance plans are cutting back on benefits, reducing coverage areas, or increasing costs. The Medicare annual election period begins October 15th. Legacy Insurance provides local agents you can count on to help you get the most of your Medicare benefits and to be there for you over the years. Call 801-281-0066, 801-281-0066, and ask for a real agent. Currently, Legacy Insurance represents 58 organizations, which offer 93 products in your area. You can always contact Medicare.gov, 1-800-MEDICARE, or your local state health insurance program for help with plan choices. There are significant changes to Medicare plans this year. Learn more or request help from a caring and local professional by visiting them online at BecauseWeProtectYou.com. That's BecauseWeProtectYou.com.
President Trump says he's considering ground strikes in Venezuela to go after drug cartels. This follows 5 military strikes against boats suspected of carrying illegal drugs. And this morning, Venezuela's president is responding. ABC's Mary Bruce has more.
This morning, President Trump considering U.S. strikes on Venezuelan soil to combat drug cartels.
Well, I don't want to tell you exactly, but we are certainly looking at land now because we've got the sea very well under control.
The president also escalating U.S. operations against Venezuela's authoritarian leader, Nicolas Maduro. Trump confirming he's authorized covert CIA action in the country. But when asked if the agency has the authority to take out Maduro, Trump non-committal.
But I think Venezuela is feeling heat.
In a statement overnight, Venezuela accusing Trump of trying to legitimize a regime change operation to access the country's oil resources, saying they would bring up the matter at the UN Security Council today. It comes after the U.S. carried out its 5th deadly strike on an alleged drug boat off the coast of Venezuela. Trump posting this video on social media, saying 6 male narco-terrorists aboard the vessel were killed in the strike. The Trump administration's operation in the Caribbean first began in early September and has drawn fierce condemnation from Democratic lawmakers who say the strikes risk getting the U.S. into a full-fledged war.
There's lots of people who have been designated terrorists. That does not automatically give the authority to take lethal action.
Asked why he's striking the boats instead of using traditional Coast Guard operations where officers can verify who is on the boat, Trump saying the Coast Guard boats are too slow.
They have faster boats. Some of these boats are seriously, they're world-class speedboats, but they're not faster than missiles.
So far, the administration has provided limited details and no evidence to prove that the 27 people killed were attempting to traffic drugs to the U.S. as they claim.
So there's a 1 in 4 chance, statistically speaking, that one of these boats may not have had any drugs on it. We will never know because they were blown to smithereens.
In a memo obtained by ABC News earlier this month, the administration told Congress that America is in a formal armed conflict and that drug cartels are deemed unlawful combatants. Now, the Venezuelan government has repeatedly denounced the U.S. strike, saying they are, quote, a pure violation of international rights. Maduro calling them, quote, aggression all down the line. But U.S. officials accuse Maduro of facilitating drug trafficking from Venezuela, a claim he denies.
That is ABC's Mary Bruce reporting. Up next, the Voting Rights Act gets a closer look at the Supreme Court. But first, it's KSL Traffic. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
It's a delay-free drive on your Salt Lake County freeways, but slowdowns remain southbound I-15 in Utah County, leaving Spanish Fork on the way to Santaquin. From system install to fast fixes to delivering award-winning heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical, call Whipple Service Champions for the win today. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Okay, so it's that time of year when you're starting to feel that draft come in from your windows and doors. And if that is you, you really need to check out the wonderful windows and doors at Peach Windows and Doors. They just have a great assortment to choose from. And these aren't just vinyl windows that you see everywhere. They have a wide range of high-quality products for you to see. They specialize in custom windows that have, that contemporary look with the larger glass and the slim frames. They also have European-style windows that tilt and turn and make them just so easy to clean. They can really change the look of your home and really give you that update that you need. They also have beautiful entry doors, so you don't feel all that draft come in from under your door. They also have patio doors, French doors, sliding glass doors, and they have the wonderful motorized custom roller shades that go along with those windows as well. Visit Peach Windows and Doors or stop by their Salt Lake showroom to see what real window replacement looks like. You can schedule a free home visit at 801-566-1255 or go to peachwindowsanddoors.com, peachwindowsanddoors.com. It's that time once again for the Cougar Keyword and a chance for you to win a pair of tickets to see the BYU-Utah rivalry game in person Saturday night. It's always available live here on KSL News Radio, but 2 of you will be going to see the action in person this weekend. Now, the Cougar keyword this hour, it's an easy one. It's blue. BLUE, as in Cougars bleed blue. Just text the word BLUE, BLUE, to 57500. You will be entered to win. And come back in an hour for another chance to win right here on the legacy home of the BYU Cougars, KSL News Radio.
Rivalry Week is here.
The 5, the 4, dive, touchdown, touchdown, touchdown!
BYU, Utah.
Bear Bachmeyer gets in for 6 in double overtime.
Listen for Cougar Tracks all week long. 30 minutes of coverage of BYU, Utah. All this week at 6:30 on Utah's legacy home of the Cougars and Rivalry Week. KSL News Radio.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Utah can count on.
I'm Jenny Oaks-Baker, and I invite you to Joy to the World.
It was sacred, exquisitely beautiful, and Jenny's talent on the violin is unmatched.
Featuring choirs, dancers, and My Children musical group, Family 4. Plus world-renowned mezzo-soprano Angela Brower and celebrated baritone and narrator Preston Yates.
It was just like emotionally stirring. The dancers, the singers, Jenny and her family, just bringing to life the beautiful music.
Experience a Christ-centered Christmas as we proudly support Light the World.
It's so beautiful to see how they use all of their talents to just testify of the Savior.
Get your tickets for Joy to the World, a sacred celebration at jennyoaksbaker.com.
Utah Mammoth Hockey is back at Delta Center. Don't miss your chance to be part of the excitement as the Mammoth hit the ice all season long. Grab your friends, rally the family, and lock in your seats for the fast-paced, hard-hitting action. Great seats are available for most games, but they're selling fast. Head to UtahMammoth.com to get your tickets today. That's UtahMammoth.com. Your home for all things Mammoth hockey.
Comcast Business can help turn your small business into a connected, secure, modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How healthcare offices become the data-protecting caregivers that we all depend on. And how wealth management firms become cyber-securing guardians of your information. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, and Wi-Fi backup, your business can stay connected and get threat-ready with Comcast Business. Powering possibilities.
Now through November 16th, new Comcast Business customers can get started with 150 megabit internet plus security for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig package. Call today. Restrictions apply. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and autopay with bank account. Early termination fee applies. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra.
You are listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. We are streaming on the KSL News Radio app, sponsored by At Your Service Pros. A key piece of legislation is getting new scrutiny from the Supreme Court, the Voting Rights Act.
The Voting Rights Act of 1965 led inexorably to a rapid growth in the number of black elected officials.
God knows we're not near where we're going. We just now beginning to scratch the surface.
The justices heard oral arguments in a case out of Louisiana this week focused on a congressional district map that's been challenged over its racial makeup. ABC's Devin Dwyer breaks down what the case is all about on Start Here with Brad Milkey.
Well, this is a case out of Louisiana involving one of the state's 2 majority black districts. It's got a complicated history, but back after the last census, Louisiana drew a map. It only had 1 majority black district, Brad, and a number of minority voters challenged the map as discriminatory, and they won. And a federal court essentially told Louisiana they had to go back to the drawing board and create a second majority black district in order to comply with the Voting Rights Act, specifically Section 2, which prohibits any measure, including a map, that prohibits an equal opportunity for minority voters to select a candidate of their choosing. And so what Louisiana did was they, with an eye on race, drew a new map, met some of the other parameters, was politically advantageous to Republicans, packed black voters into 2 districts and said, voila, here we have it. We have a map that complies with the Voting Rights Act. Well, that wasn't the end of the story, because a group of non-white voters, Brad, sued over that map and said that using race to draw that 2nd district was itself a discriminatory use of race.
Race-based redistricting is fundamentally contrary to our Constitution. It requires striking enough members of the majority race to sufficiently diminish their voting strength.
It is sort of a head-spinning argument that has turned on its head, but it really boils down to how much race is too much race. Right. And how do you comply with the Voting Rights Act of 1965 while also complying with the Constitution and the 14th Amendment, which says, equal protection for all, and that generally, we need to operate, the government needs to operate in a race-blind manner.
Embedded within these express targets are racial stereotypes that this court has long criticized. They assume, for example, that a black voter, simply because he is black, must think like other black voters, share the same interests, and prefer the same political candidates.
Legal analysts like to zero in on the questions the justices ask to try to figure out whether they're leaning one way or the other. And yesterday's debate focused largely on intent.
The law doesn't require any intent. The law actually requires a look at the effect of an election map, which is a much looser standard. Any map, regardless of whether it was intended on being discriminatory, that creates an unequal opportunity, violates the Voting Rights Act, Section 2.
Like if you draw a district and then you find out 5 years later.
Race-based affirmative action in higher education. They have John Roberts, the Chief Justice, from his early days on the bench, have pushed towards a race-blind approach to all sorts of controversies.
This court's cases in a variety of contexts have said that race-based remedies are permissible for a period of time, sometimes for a long period of time, decades in some cases, but that they should not be indefinite and should have an endpoint.
And so here you had the justices saying, well, wait a second. It seems a little improper to, summarize their view there, that we aren't even considering intent.
Is it acceptable under Section 2, as you understand it, given our precedents, for a court to intentionally discriminate in a remedial map on the basis of race?
Not in those words, not for a court to intentionally discriminate, but I think it depends. There may be a circumstance where the only possible remedy is the limited use of race.
And of course, Louisiana was arguing yesterday, Brad, that any use of race for any reason should be declared unconstitutional. I got to tell you, it didn't seem clear to me that there was a majority of justices that were ready to go that far. Certainly there are a few that would like to make that declaration, but it did seem clear that the court is ready to put some sorts of limits on how Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act is applied to state election maps.
If the objective is simply to maximize the number of representatives of a particular party, that's seeking a partisan advantage. It is not seeking a racial advantage. Isn't that right?
And in the case of Louisiana, that maybe race was too predominant in drawing that second majority black district, and they might have to go back to the drawing board, depending upon how this case comes out.
And that is ABC's Devin Dwyer reporting. We're going to bring you something that's happening now. President Trump has stepped before the microphones talking about his conversation today with Russia's President Vladimir Putin.
2 weeks. First, Marco is going to be meeting, and the vice president, as you know, is very much involved. The whole team is involved. Steve Witkoff will be involved. Yeah, please.
What did you tell them about the Tomahawks? Did you discuss the Tomahawk missiles? Did you discuss?
Well, we talked about it a little bit. Didn't say much, but I do say to you, we need Tomahawks for the United States of America, too. We have a lot of them, but we need them. I mean, we can't deplete for our country. So, they're very vital. They're very powerful. They're very accurate. They're very good, but we need them, too. So I don't know what we can do about that.
Why do you think a second meeting with Putin,
Why do you think a second meeting with Putin now will yield different results?
Well, I think Alaska actually set a stage, and that wasn't very long ago, but it set a stage. You have to understand, I came into this situation. I didn't start this war. This is a Biden deal. And I came into it, and it was a mess. It could have led to World War III. In my opinion, this could have led to World War III. That won't happen, but it could have. So I came in, this war was raging. When I left, this wasn't even a thought. For 4 years, nobody talked about it. I spoke to President Putin about Ukraine. It was the apple of his eye, but there was never going to be doing anything like this. And this all went because of some really bad decisions that were made. And look what you have. You have millions of people dead. You have just a horrible, horrible situation. I'm doing it to save souls. That's all I'm doing it for. I'm not doing it for us. We have an ocean between us. I'm doing it also to help.
And that is
Europe.
President Trump. He says that he plans to meet with Vladimir Putin in Hungary in about 2 weeks. It's 2:30, midday at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we are watching this hour. A big anniversary today for the University of Utah. Increased security for this weekend's BYU rivalry game. And KSL traffic, Ricky.
Delays continue southbound I-15. That's from Spanish Fork to Santaquin. Maria?
Showers decreasing tonight. It's 2:30.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. President Trump held a call today with Russia's Vladimir Putin about ending the war in Ukraine, saying the two will meet in Hungary without giving a date. Tomorrow, the president meets with Ukraine's leader about securing more weapons, including talks on long-range weapons and missiles. The president at the White House signing executive orders to make it easier and less expensive, he says, for fertility treatments.
Effective immediately, for the first time ever, we will make it legal for companies to offer supplemental insurance plans specifically for fertility. It's never been done before. We're signing it in today with what we signed.
The Senate failed to pass a bill to end the government shutdown now in week 3. Lawmakers will take up another vote next week. Nestle, the world's biggest food company, announced it's laying off 16,000 workers worldwide over the next 2 years. The company says it's dealing with rising costs for ingredients along with the negative impacts of tariffs. This is ABC News.
KSL's top local story. A United Airlines flight from Denver to L.A. made an unscheduled landing in Salt Lake City this morning after pilots spotted a crack in the cockpit windshield.
Things happen, and if it breaks, I mean, they're really, really strong. I mean, they can take quite a beating, but, you start getting to crack like that, it's just better to play it safe, divert.
That is a pilot from a major commercial airline who asked not to be named out of fear of losing his job. The flight landed safely, and officials say the aircraft will stay on the ground for inspection before heading back into service. Police have arrested 3 minors in connection to the shooting death of a Sandy man earlier this week. Officers were called to the area of Main Street Park on Monday for a reported robbery and found 29-year-old Josh Pechtal in critical condition. He was taken to the hospital but later died. Police say because the suspects are minors, they will not be releasing any further information on the case. Day 16 of the government shutdown shows us a different side of House Speaker Mike Johnson.
I don't like being mad, Mike. I want to be happy, Mike. I want to be the happy warrior, but I am so upset about this.
Democrats want to extend tax credits for the Affordable Care Act before they'll agree to a spending plan. Republicans say they won't negotiate until the shutdown is over. And taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow ending the day down by more than 300 points, sitting at 45,952. S&P down by 41 points, and the NASDAQ down by 107 points. October has just moved up to the 5th wettest month ever recorded in Salt Lake City.
We have 4.96 on the month. The wettest month ever, not just October, wettest month ever in Salt Lake City was September of 1982 when we hit 7.04 inches of water.
KSL meteorologist Matt Johnson says we aren't done with the rain this month. There are 2 more storms lining up over the Pacific, and he says one of them looks like it could move in right around Halloween. He also says it looks like a cold storm, meaning that trick-or-treaters might be dealing with snow, but it's still too early to say. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
We have a new crash in Box Elder County, northbound I-15 by the rest area in Perry. Not causing any delays. We still have the cleanup of an earlier rollover crash, a tow truck at the scene. They're over to the right at the ramp from southbound I-215's West Belt to the 21st South Freeway and starting to see the first signs of traffic building and slowing down southbound I-15, Murray and Midvale. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Still a 50-50 chance of rain this afternoon along the Wasatch Front. Those showers decreasing tonight. Tomorrow, not a chance of rain. Looks like the next couple of days are dry, at least through the weekend, and the highs going back up into the 60s for tomorrow and Saturday, up to 70 by Sunday. 50 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and there's a good chance you've heard me talking about our free furnace sale. The one where you buy a new air conditioner and we give you a new furnace for just the cost to install it, about $400. Well, we still have a few more spots on our schedule we need to fill, so I'm extending the sale, but I'm not quite sure for how much longer. Definitely no later than the end of October. And once I think our schedule's full enough, I got to pull these ads. So don't wait too long to call and schedule your free estimate. The main reason we do this sale is to give you an incentive to help us keep our guys busy when the weather's mild. And thanks to your help, we're able to keep our guys and keep growing. So if your furnace and air conditioner are ready to be replaced, you owe it to yourself to at least schedule a free estimate and get all the details about our free furnace sale. Just to recap, when you have Any Hour Services install a new air conditioner, we'll give you a new furnace for just the cost to install it. About $400. The furnace is free, you just pay the labor. If you think you might be interested, call Any Hour Services at 801-443-7400. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Makita's built for the pros who show up early, who don't do shortcuts, only precise cuts. With tools built to last, job after job, year after year. Performance that pays off, because when the job calls for the best, you answer. And when you need the best, you call on Makita. Built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You were listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. It's a big party today up at the University of Utah for the school's 175th birthday. The U's Chief Alumni Relations Officer, Chris Bosman, joined me to talk about the big event.
All students, all staff and faculty, donors, alumni, and all of our community is invited. So it's really fun to see everything come together like this.
So what can we expect? I understand there's even a drone show.
There is, yeah. And luckily, I've been checking the weather about every 15 minutes, and I'm finally stopping because I see the sun in the west, and I think the drone show is going to be on. But basically, we're opening up our open union on campus, which is really the hub and the heart of campus. We say all roads lead to the union here on campus, and so we're opening that up for kind of a choose your own adventure activation. We will be able to you'll be able to walk through the union. The first floor is what we're calling climbing new heights, and we have performing arts. We have activations for our vision for College Town Magic. There's an activation for Lasan Studios and the entrepreneurship program, Bench to Bedside, our gaming program, Swoop Showdown, athletics-based trivia and games. So there's tons to do on the first floor with our performing arts, our College of Fine Arts, leading the way with different pieces of their work. And then on the bottom floor of the union where the bowling alley is, there'll be games, there'll be tons and tons of food, and just like fun for everyone. It's really something that we don't do this often, to have an event that is really, really welcoming for all ages. And so I'm excited to see so many of our alumni and our staff and faculty bring their families and just enjoy a fun night just for them.
So let's talk a little bit about the history. I mean, what has changed? I mean, a lot has changed at the University of Utah since 1850. Talk a little bit about the history.
Many people don't know that we started with basically 10 students. The University of Utah has been here longer than the state itself. We started before the state was even officially the state, so been here a long time. We started very, very basically with just a few students, and then had a little bit of a break where they lost funding. And then Brigham Young came in and gave funding so that the university could continue. It was the University of Deseret for a little bit. So the most growth you've really seen on campus has been really in the last 20 to 30 years, where when I started here as a student in 1994, I wouldn't recognize this campus if I just came back today. So it's really fun to see the growth, the addition of so much student housing, expansion of our U Health campus, and our hospital. The campus has changed a tremendous amount. We now have around 34,000 students, about 80,000 people with all the staff and faculty and hospital come up to campus or are engaged on campus every single day. So I think that the university everyone knows, is a driver for the economy. It's doing important work and important research and educating students, and it's here to stay.
I was looking at the video put together by the university, just marking the significant contributions. And some of them I remembered, some of them I did not. Maybe you could just mention a few of them that really are significant.
Sure. Well, we like to brag about our alumni. Some of my favorite alumni that we talk about in our kind of what we call our sizzle video to talk about the campus is Ed Catmull, who was an engineering student here on campus and was one of the co-founders of Pixar, which we've all enjoyed Pixar movies over the years. Another, John Warnock, the founder of Adobe. So really have had some really important alumni contributions in the technology space that have really impacted lives all over the world every single day. I'm in an Adobe program right now working on something in Adobe, so that's kind of fun. We can also brag about alumni like J. Willard Marriott, whose Marriott Hotels company has been tremendously impactful around the world. Also a Nobel Prize winner amongst our faculty, Mario Capecchi, of course, Dr. Capecchi winning the Nobel Prize for genetics. But so many tremendous accomplishments from healthcare research to bionic leg to having the Olympics on campus to all the things that we've done for students and student life. It's been a tremendous impact over the past 175 years, and we're just getting started.
Yeah, what does the future hold?
I'm hoping to see just different growth in how we educate students, and we're expanding our healthcare to the west side of West Salt Lake. West Valley City Hospital is opening in a couple of years, and you're going to see, I think, more people impacted by the research and the scholarship and the impact of healthcare. We impact everybody in the states based on that, and so I think that you're going to see the university continue to grow with innovation. You're going to see campus changing with President Randall's vision for College Town Magic. You're going to see a transformation of this campus, and so it's going to be pretty exciting to see.
The U's 175th Celebration Bash gets underway in the Student Union Building at 5 o'clock with a drone and a light show at 7:30. For the second year in a row, the presidents of BYU and the University of Utah are calling on fans to have fun and keep it civil ahead of this weekend's rivalry game. BYU President Shane Reese tells Inside Sources they felt like it was an important message.
Well, Taylor Randall and I, President Randall at the University of Utah, are great friends. We look for ways that we can collaborate. And a couple years ago, we looked at it and we said, this rivalry it sometimes gets the best of us. We feel like there are players who played for each institution who are currently playing at the other institution. There are coaches who played for the other institution and coaches who have coached at the other institution. So it turns out that so many connections. And boy, you just look around Utah, there are families where family members, one went to the University of Utah and the other one went to BYU. So with all of these deep connections, we just felt like it was an important time for the two of us to lean in and remind everybody that we care deeply about what happens on the field, both of us. But at the end of the day, we all reside so close to one another and in the same community, and that the sort of competition, we just feel like it needs to have an appropriate level of fervor, and that it needs to, once the game's over, we need to remind ourselves that we're all in the same community and that it ought to be a rival that we can do the right way.
The game kicks off Saturday at 6 here on KSL News Radio. Our pregame coverage starts at noon. Midday continues in just 60 seconds.
Hey, Doc, nice office. Quick question. If you had to choose, would you give yourself a root canal or run payroll?
Run payroll, no question.
Seriously? Well, have you run payroll before?
Paying my team with Gusto couldn't be easier. Gusto gives me unlimited payroll runs, next day direct deposits, and automatically files my taxes. Saves me time.
Wow, that's nice.
Over here, Doc. Can I run payroll too?
Choose payroll without the pain. Visit gusto.com/radio to sign up for free.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
The Owenda School District is hoping people will change their driving habits around school buses. They've been handing out a lot more citations to see if that does the trick. Cynthia Shiner works in the district's transportation office, and she says they've also launched a social media campaign.
So we have a gentleman, Jeff Lyzik, and he puts things out on Facebook, and we have had number times we've put things out to try and make the public aware of what the laws are with running red lights and when you should stop for a red light, when you don't have to stop. So we are just trying to come up with all kinds of different ways just to make the public aware.
Schreiner used to be a bus driver who saw this kind of stuff all the time, but she wants to remind everyone that it's our children's lives at stake.
I've had numerous run-ins with different people. I had one instant where I was letting students off, and a driver came to my door side just as a student was getting ready to step off the step. And then I've had one that ran my reds almost on a daily basis. And when I honked my horn at him, he stopped his truck and got out and was not very happy and said this was a stupid bus stop. And I said, no, sir, stupid is putting children's lives at danger. Bus drivers, we are here at the same time, at the same day, same time every day, picking up and dropping off students. And if you want to not be caught with a bus stop, then avoid that time because we are there regularly.
And the uptick in violations has been steep. In September alone, there were 25 violations reported. That's about half of last year's total, and a citation carries a big price tag.
Red light runners, we call them red light runners. And I believe, I'm not quite sure exactly when the dates went into effect, but the state of Utah changed their laws, and it is now a $1,000 fine. It should be. Because our children's lives, you should not put a price tag on that. Just be vigilant and watch for those red lights and watch for the ambers that come on first. That's a warning that bus is going to stop, and be prepared to stop. And we're usually at a bus stop no more than a minute, and it's really not that long. And just be patient, let the kids get on, and just be vigilant.
The district hopes to get the message out that violators will probably be caught because they have camera footage. Next, a sticker shock at the car dealership. But first, it's KSL Traffic. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
We have some kind of trouble in traffic for Davis County drivers northbound I-15 after Parish Lane in Centerville. I can't see what's going on, but I can definitely see the delays. Very slow and go back to Bountiful. And the earlier rollover crash, well, they have a crane out now trying to pull this vehicle out of the ditch. This is on the ramp from southbound I-215's West Belt to join the 21st South Freeway. Everybody out of traffic on the right. Common Spirit hospitals, clinics, and caregivers, all connected to advanced health care in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Healthcare with human kindness is here. Hello, human kindness. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
We do have breaking news. President Trump's former national security advisor, John Bolton, has been indicted. Let's listen in to CNN for their coverage.
Try to get those numbers in a pen somewhere, so at least you're
looking at a tight version of what you might be facing, but they're not mutually exclusive. You can be negotiating a plea deal while you're picking a jury. So you do a little bit of both. You do the congressman's deflection defense, and you do the let's work this out negotiation with the prosecutor.
Mr. Miyagi, as you say, Ron Brown.
Yeah, look, the case
Former
against
attorney
Bolton
William
will stand
Brennan
or fall
speaking
on
at this moment.
on its own merits, and if he had a serious violation, he should face serious consequences. But I think for most Americans, the significance here is that we are watching people who the president has deemed as his enemies systematically being indicted by the Justice Department. The merits of each case may vary, may be stronger or weaker, but that pattern is a reality. And to Elliot's point about, why does Trump keep saying this stuff about that he's glad to see this person indicted or he wants that person indicted when it might weaken the prosecution? That may be less important to him than sending the signal that if you cross him enough, there is a real risk that the Justice Department could come after you. That may be more important to him than not polluting the case with these improper comments, because he is sending that signal to all potential critics in society. You go far enough, look what might happen.
I want to bring into the conversation Rahm Emanuel. He needs very little introduction.
And
now.
you've been listening to CNN. We have learned that former national security for the Trump administration, John Bolton, has been indicted by a federal grand jury. We don't know exactly what those charges are as of yet, but we will have much more coming up in Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News.
Jim Jr. here from RGS Exteriors. I want to tell you about our famous "You Don't Need a Warranty" warranty. That's right. It's a warranty you don't need, but we give it to you anyway. Let me explain. Most warranty problems for siding, gutters, and windows are caused by not installing stuff right in the first place. If you rush the work, cut corners, or use subpar materials, you're just begging for problems later. At RGS Exteriors, we don't tolerate careless workmanship. We slow down, focus on every detail, and use only the best materials. We prevent warranty work by doing the job right in the first place. That's why the 10-year everything guarantee we give you is also known as our "You Don't Need a Warranty" warranty. We absolutely will be there if you need to use it. But honestly, you probably will never have to. Done right the first time. That's the RGS way. For siding, gutters, and windows, call 801-280-3110 or visit us at rgsexteriors.com.
The movie show is at Minky Couture in Orem for the first time ever this Friday, 10 to 1. Check out all the new styles in time for the holidays. Visit minkycouture.com.
Rivalry Week is here, and KSL News Radio has your tickets to this year's BYU-Utah game. Tune in every hour and listen for a Cougar keyword. When you hear it, text it to 57500 for your chance to win. We'll pick a new winner each day. The more Cougar keywords you catch, the better chance you have to win. Find details and sweepstakes rules at KSLNewsRadio.com. KSL News Radio, the legacy home of BYU football.
Pros don't just show up. They prove how it's done, with precision and without shortcuts. Makita tools are built the same way, with a dedication to lasting quality, trusted performance, and results that reward your effort year after year. When the job calls for the best, call on Makita. Built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Amanda, I want to tell people how they can look and feel 10 years younger, because it's something you and I already know.
We lost weight with the SOTA weight loss program. I lost 34 pounds, 3 years ago now?
Yeah.
And I do feel younger. I have more energy, all because I worked through this wonderful program, SOTA weight loss.
And I let go of 70 pounds of fat weight over 5 months, and I actually did get comments, you look incredibly younger. It really felt good.
And I love the example I set for my kids to show them, look, we can celebrate right things without having to eat stuff that's bad for our bodies.
And what helps is the accountability. And
Yeah.
right now, this is the best way to do it. Soda's bringing back their most popular offer of the season. Join now, and your partner joins for free in the Partner Program.
So you and your spouse, or you and your best friend, get going with Soda Weight Loss.
They're the #1 weight loss company in America for client satisfaction and client results. You can find out by going to their website, sodaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com. Because soda is, say it with me, Amanda, state of the art.
You worked hard for your 401k, but if you've left your job, your money might be sitting in the wrong hands. I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and it's very possible that the 401k that you have had for years has hidden fees and limited investment choices. But if you're no longer with the company, that 401k may be at the mercy of your former employer. All of these things could be costing you thousands. Rolling over your 401k into an IRA can provide better investment options that align with your long-term goals. At Trajan Wealth, we're fiduciary advisors that are held to a higher standard with no hidden agenda and no hidden fees. Don't let your retirement dollars sit in an old plan, and don't roll it over to your new plan without consulting Trajan Wealth first. Call Trajan today at 801-899-7600. That's 801-899-7600.
Advisory services are offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
This is Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. The average price to buy a car is now over $50,000 for the first time ever. Kelly Blue Book's Sean Tucker sat down to talk about the reasons why with Start Here podcast host Brad Milkey. Tucker says it's the higher-priced luxury cars that are driving up the average.
First of all, prices always go up in the fall because the new model year begins. So the 2026s are rolling onto lots and they cost more than the 2025s. That's normal. What's abnormal is that 7.5% of the cars Americans bought last month cost $75,000 or more.
He says that's double the usual rate. So why are so many Americans suddenly buying all these super expensive cars in September? Well, something important happened then. The credit you got for buying an electric vehicle expired at the end of the month as part of the so-called Big Beautiful Bill.
So we're seeing an awful lot of people who are interested in an EV who otherwise might have bought in October, November, December. They rush to buy in September, and electric cars cost more than gas-powered cars.
So that's one reason, people buying more expensive cars. But Sean says this is not just a one-off price hike.
We think the number will dip down below $50,000 again when October's numbers come out, because all of those EV purchases will not be happening next month. However, it'll probably crest the $50,000 mark permanently sometime next year, just because that's how inflation is going with it.
A side effect for electric car dealers could be how soon they get paid for tax credits. Customers were able to claim the tax credit at the time of their purchase, and then the dealers would get reimbursed later by the IRS. But several dealers are saying that the system that they used to get reimbursed changed in mid-September, requiring a lot more information on their end to prove the sales, and with many car sales marked as pending rather than paid out right away. Now, there was no comment from the IRS before the shutdown began, leaving that money in limbo. The Mammoth had their regular season home opener last night, and fans got to experience the new special additions to the Delta Center. Smith Entertainment Group executive Jim Olson says it's improved the fan experience.
Any home opener is exciting, but when you have a home opener where you've completed, a large renovation project, and we have 1,100 new lower bowl seats, all of them have great sight lines and view of the complete ice. It's going to just be a packed house and a lot of fun. This is the best dual sport arena in the country, meaning, basketball and hockey, and the players feel the fans right on top of them. We were able to protect the sight lines for basketball and create great sight lines for hockey, and we have such a great venue where our fans are passionate and they're right on top of the action, and the players feel it.
But the projects at the Delta Center aren't over yet. Olson says they still have big plans for other areas in the stadium.
Now, what we'll do in the next 2 summers is work on the upper bowl. Next summer 26, we'll do one end of the upper bowl, kind of the same thing, make sure that every seat has a great sight line to the ice with no obstruction. And then in the summer 27, we'll do the other end of the upper bowl. And by the end of 27, we'll have, nearing 17,000 seats for hockey that have perfect sight lines with no obstructions. And, about 19,000 for basketball. Same thing, no obstruction. Everything will be great. So 2 more summers of work, but we're real happy about the work that's been done so far.
Now more seats equal more fans, and the fan experience isn't complete without some merch. Fanatics Utah Team Store General Manager Brian Lee says everyone wants a jersey.
That's what's been so interesting about this fan base is they just want all of it, right? It's really hard to, I mean, obviously jerseys have been the number one, and then anything that's really the Fanatics Pro Authentic, all the on-ice stuff, that's always also been very popular.
Okay, Utah Mammoth fans who attended the home opener last night got a surprise when the team unveiled their new mascot. He's big, fluffy, and blue, and his name is Tusky, in keeping with the Tusks Up cheer. Jeff Kaplan, you were out on the plaza last night for the big party for the Mammoth home opener and talking to little boys. I heard you talking to fans and everything.
Wait, I was talking to adults as well.
I
mean, that
heard you
sounded
talking
really
to
bad.
a little boy, and he was about to have a great time.
Yeah, 8-year-old kid. He
Have
was
you
cute.
seen Tusky, though?
I did not, because he debuted after we finished the show last night. I saw pictures of him. It's a mammoth
how
head.
tall Tusky is.
A mammoth head with a hockey uniform, right?
Of course, and he has to be able to skate.
And I saw some of his skating on video this morning.
Yep.
Sweet.
Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News is next. Have a great afternoon. It's 3 o'clock.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Good afternoon, 3 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Jeff Kaplan. We're at 50 degrees even, KSL's top story. The president of BYU is addressing the question of safety at Lavelle Edwards Stadium when the Utes take on BYU Saturday night.
We take safety and security very seriously on this campus.
BYU President Shane Reese addressed the topic of safety with inside sources just one day after we learned someone posted on social media threatening to shoot Utah fans at Saturday's game. The man accused of making the threats is now in jail. Reese says they will have over 130 officers in and around Lavelle Edwards Stadium the day of the game.
And they're trained and committed to provide a safe and a secure environment so that everybody can come and enjoy the rivalry.
President Reese also says they continually monitor security-related events going back years and make adjustments to make sure their security is top-notch. He also says they've increased their investment in security personnel and their processes over the last few years. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
You know, in light of developments this week, we thought we'd check on this. BYU won't allow firearms inside the stadium, unlike some other Utah schools. KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson with the story.
BYU is a private institution, which means they can make their own policies, including at Lavelle Edwards Stadium.
BYU has a firearms and weapons policy that covers all of campus, whether you're at the stadium or the Marriott Center or anywhere else. It's the same policy.
Karen Ellingson with BYU Police says it's not just about guns. They'll be screening for weapons of any kind at Saturday's game.
Anybody who comes to the game on Saturday will go through a screening process as part of entering the stadium.
However, if the Utes were the home team and they were playing at Rice-Eccles Stadium instead, firearms would be allowed with a concealed weapons permit. That's because the University of Utah is a state school and they follow state laws when it comes to the ability to carry guns. Heather Peterson, KSL News Radio.
After his debut last night, Utahns, well, they have a lot to say about Tusky, the new mascot of the Utah Mammoth. Marketing VP Lisa Nilchin says after the win last night, maybe Tusky's a good luck charm.
Tusky's 1-0, so I think we've got a big season ahead of us, absolutely.
There you go. Tusky is a furry blue mammoth head atop a black Utah hockey uniform, and he has a few tricks up his sleeve.
Tusky can skate. Yeah, you can't join the NHL if you don't skate. Plus, he was frozen in ice for years, so he's used to this terrain.
You can see him, we assume it's a him, when the Mammoth face the San Jose Sharks tomorrow night at 7 at the Delta Center. KSL News Time 3:03. Our top national story, President Trump spoke to Vladimir Putin today, what the president calls a very productive conversation. Tomorrow, he meets with Ukraine's president at the White House.
President Trump's phone call with Russian President Vladimir Putin lasted more than 2 hours, and he says he believes, quote, great progress was made. They agreed there would be high-level U.S.-Russia meetings next week. Secretary of State Marco Rubio will lead the U.S. delegation. The president also said he and Putin will then meet in Hungary to see if they they can bring the war to an end. But he doesn't say when that meeting would take place. Asked if the president believes conditions have changed to make a second meeting with Putin more successful than their Alaska summit in August, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said the president is, quote, always willing to take a chance at diplomacy. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
KSL News Time 3:03. We have developing news at KSL. Federal prosecutors in Maryland have indicted President Trump's ex-national security advisor, John Bolton. We don't know the exact charges against him, but believe that it has to do with alleged mishandling of classified documents. The president has been furious with Bolton since his first administration, when Bolton left the White House and published a tell-all book. The groups behind Utah's Prop 4 went to court today. They want to block a new effort by